So the latest reporting is that DOJ and FBI officials have begun lawyering up in anticipation of Matt Gaetz and Donald Trump targeting them for criminal prosecution. Of course, the left is taking this as it's Donald Trump's revenge, and the right is saying it's Donald Trump's revenge. The thing is, the right believes many of these individuals actually committed crimes, and with these investigations will likely prove it. And I think that's fair to say. So we'll talk about that, plus good fun. Donald Trump shows up to UFC 309. Thunderous applause. Everybody's cheering. Mike Johnson's there. You had RFK Jr. I think RFK Jr. was there. You got Elon, but they were on the plane. Everybody was cheering for this, and it shows you that we're back, baby. You got John Jones doing the Trump shimmy. You got football players doing the Trump shimmy. No more dropping to their knees in fear of some cult ideology. It's a good time to be alive, I must say. And then we got a bunch of other stuff. World War III may be on the horizon, which is Ukraine is now authorized to use these long-range missiles into Russian territory. And Sweden has actually started issuing pamphlets warning their citizenry of what to do in nuclear war, because they issue them periodically. And they do fear there is war coming. So we'll talk about all that stuff. Plus, we got a funny story. Joe Scarborough and Micah from Morning Joe, they met with Donald Trump. Yeah, that's right. They met with Hitler, I guess, because they want to make amends and open lines of communication. Yeah, it's because their ratings were 28,000 in the key demo over the weekend. So they know they're irrelevant. We're going to talk about that. But before we get started, my friends, head over to HomeTitleLock.com/Tim. They're sponsoring the show tonight. My friends, have you heard about the fast-growing crime about the FBI? They call it house stealing. It's real and it's becoming more common. Most people don't even think about checking the title to their home or investment properties, and that's exactly what scammers are counting on. In today's climate, you have to stay vigilant and protect what may be your most valuable financial asset. So here's how it works. A scammer files a quitclaim deed using your information, forges a signature, stamps it with a phony notary seal, and files it with the county. Just like that, your property isn't legally yours anymore. They're not interested in your home. They're after your equity. They'll take out loans using your property as collateral, then disappear, leaving you to deal with the financial and legal fallout. Take it seriously. That's why we trust Home Title Lock, protect your properties. They have the triple lock protection system, monitors your title 24/7, alerts you if there are any changes to your title, works fast to restore your title with no out-of-pocket costs. You can get a free 30-day trial right now and a free title history report when you use the promo code TIM at HomeTitleLock.com or use the link in the description below. That's HomeTitleLock.com, promo code TIM for 30 days of protection and a title report for free. Shout out. Thanks for sponsoring the show. Of course, Cast Brew Coffee is where we sponsor ourselves. Buy our coffee. It's delicious coffee. I recommend Stand Your Grounds, one of the favorites. But we sell a lot of Appalachian Nights. Everybody really loves that one. It's a darker roast. And I use that one for my espresso. So if you want to make espresso, that's the go-to. And then, of course, head over to timcast.com, click Join Us, become a member, and join our Discord server. Join the movement. Many people are asking how to get involved. And, well, get in the Discord server, meet people. There's meetups, there's pre-shows, there's after shows. Totally worth it. And as a member, you are supporting the work that we do. We also have members-only uncensored shows. That'll be tonight at 10 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Not so family-friendly, but always fun and funny. So smash that like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more is Andrew Wilson.
Hey, what's going on, Tim? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I don't know. I can't get this mic right. There we go. I think I got it right.
You got it.
I think I got it.
Who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, my name is Andrew Wilson. I'm the host of the one and only Crucible. It's a popular entertainment platform on YouTube. I'm a political analyst, political satirist. You've probably seen me on the Whatever podcast with Brian Atlas. And that's what I do.
Right on. Well, thanks for hanging out. Should be fun. We got Raymond hanging out.
Hey, everybody. Raymond here, resident blue-collar here at TMG. I look forward to talking with Mr. Andrew Wilson because I enjoy him and Rachel's commentary. Mr. Phil.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary. Let's go.
Let's roll. From NBC News, you know them, you love them. DOJ and FBI officials reach out to lawyers as potential Trump revenge prosecutions loom. Oh, they have to put revenge. I'm totally fine with that. I'd rather say retribution and accountability. Legal experts say Trump's choice for Attorney General Matt Gaetz signals the president-elect's determination to tightly control the Justice Department and prosecute adversaries or criminals. Multiple current and former senior DOJ and FBI officials have begun reaching out to lawyers in anticipation of being criminally investigated by the Trump administration, according to 3 people with knowledge of their deliberations. Now, I just want to pause because, I said this a couple months ago. I said when Donald Trump gets in, He should launch his investigations, and it feels good to see that my sentiment was not unique to me, that there are many people who agree. They say following Trump's decisive election victory, many Justice Department officials and career staffers were already nervous about the possibility they would be targeted by Trump loyalists, particularly members of Congress. But the selection of former Rep. Matt Gaetz, a firebrand Trump ally, who was subject of a recent FBI investigation to lead the department, has sharply increased the sense of alarm, the sources say. I'm glad to hear it. Let's roll tape.
A sense of alarm is building among officials at the Justice Department and the FBI who are bracing for possible revenge prosecutions from the incoming Trump administration. NBC News reports that some civil servants who work on a government salary have proactively reached out to lawyers. That's according to 3 people with knowledge of their deliberations. They're worried about the effect of long and costly legal battles. Joining me here in studio, NBC News senior executive editor for national security, David Rode, who reported this story. Also with us, Glenn Kirshner, a former federal prosecutor and MSNBC legal analyst. It's good to have you here, David. A lot of DOJ staffers we had been hearing and you had been reporting were saying there was some nervousness about what might happen, about, frankly, what has been said about the plans for going after people who they felt unfairly went after them. But how has the choice of Matt Gaetz changed the equation, or has it?
It has, and that's the difference. There was worry about congressional investigations. They expected that. But the choice of Gaetz, which was, I think, a real surprise to many people inside the DOJ.
Me too.
Signaled everywhere, yes, that he's a lawyer, but he's had no experience prosecuting cases. But most of all, he is a firebrand loyalist, a very vocal supporter of President Trump. And it's seen by people as a choice. It's someone who Trump trusts, and someone who, given the ethics investigation, sort of owes Trump. Trump is sort of protecting him by giving him this new job just before the ethics report comes out.
Yeah, well, you know what? They deserve to be investigated, and I'm looking forward to it. I think Matt Gaetz was the best choice. I didn't see it coming, and when they announced it, I was yelling, and we bought champagne and celebrated.
We did.
Yeah, it's a very exciting time right now getting Matt Gaetz in there. And
if we get him in there.
Well, right. If these people they did nothing wrong, if they follow all the rules like they're supposed to, then they should have nothing to worry about when it comes to legal counsel.
Well, that's exactly what the left says. Of course, we know that's not really how the law works. The procedure is the punishment, but that's too bad. They want to wage lawfare against Donald Trump. They want to do these false criminal charges. I guess now we're going to have to just say each and every one of them was investigated for whatever it is they get investigated for. I made the half joke on X that I was going to start hiring investigators to go after journalists for wacky reasons, so that I could then say this person has been investigated for insert whatever.
Yeah,
because that's what they're doing to Matt Gaetz.
Allegedly, that's like if you could just say they allegedly did it.
No, I'm saying investigations are worse than allegations.
We're right, but you could do both.
No, I'm saying if you say someone was alleged to have done something, nobody cares. It's like, it's sure. If I say they were actually investigated for, cheating on their wife or something like that, then it's like, whoa, investigated for it. Yeah, look at that. And, we can investigate anybody for any reason we want. So I can just hire a private investigator and say, I want you to investigate, I don't know, insert liberal pundit for wire fraud. I don't know. It's a private investigation. Like maybe you'll find something, huh?
Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter what they actually find well, I mean, I guess it does, but it doesn't. The point isn't about like actually finding any kind of illegality. The point is smear. Like the whole reason they're bringing this up and talking about it is they want to smear him. If this were someone on the Democrat side, they would be downplaying the allegations. They'd be like, oh well, the DOJ looked into it. They'd be saying all truthful things like DOJ looked into it. They didn't prosecute. It's not something. The witness wasn't credible, et cetera, et cetera. This isn't about whether or not they care. It's about sliming Matt Gaetz. And as for whether or not he should go after people, if you've broken the law, you should be investigated. If there's evidence that you've broken the law, you should be investigated. And then if you're found to be, if there is enough evidence, you should be prosecuted. That's not some kind of ridiculous far right wing perspective.
Well, get revenge. Like, I mean, honestly, get revenge. It's time. I'm actually kind of tired of the fact that when the Democrats get in, they're like, okay, well, these guys are all lawbreakers. We're going to endlessly investigate them. We're going to throw every phony baloney, accusation we possibly can at them. And then when Republicans get power, like last time, Trump said, no, let's do the peaceful thing. Let's do the loving thing. Let's do that. It didn't work out.
No.
It didn't work out. They need to go after him. There's a lot of the American electorate who believe that there are traitors inside of the FBI, that there are traitors, and that Democrats have acted in a treasonous manner.
Yeah, I mean, look, nothing that you're talking about says that you should go after people that haven't broken the law or that aren't treasonous. And I'm in full
I don't think
agreement.
anybody's treasonous, though. I think this was the discussion we had with Laura Loomer.
Seditious?
Seditious.
Yeah, okay.
Seeking to undermine the government or undermine it from within. Treason is
Yeah.
providing aid to an enemy, particularly at a time of war.
So fair enough. I don't think there's any kind of, there's no, at least I personally don't have any problem with finding people that are seditious and accusing them of, punishing them for seditious behavior or whatever. That's fine with me. But I don't think we should be trying to create conditions. We shouldn't be doing what the FBI was doing, trying to entrap people and trying to create a situation. Because I agree with you, there's plenty of evidence that there is seditious behavior in multiple levels of government. So yeah.
Well, the thing is you're right. Right. For the purpose of the semantic distinction, I think when the average person thinks of treason, right, they're not.
I agree.
Yeah, they're not thinking of it in terms of, it has to be during wartime or this type of thing. But I agree with you, right? So seditious. I do think that there has been a lot of seditious activity. I do think I would even consider treasonous activity towards President Trump, for sure. And I think I would love to actually see him, once Gaetz is in as the AG, why not go back and revisit what happened during the former election?
Oh, everything.
Why not go back and take a
2016
look at why this guy, ended up with millions and millions more votes than Kamala ended up with? I would like to see an actual investigation launched on that.
I think, I'm of two minds. I think absolutely, because the American people will want some kind of resolution. But I think that in terms of the efforts, they should just be, and I don't know that Republicans are going to do this, but proof of citizenship passed immediately for voting in federal elections. Yes. Just boom, instantly. And mass deportations. I mean, that solves most of the problems. Mm-hmm. And then you need, so that's Trump in general, Republicans. But what Matt Gaetz can do, it's going to be tough. Going back and relitigating the 2020 election, all that stuff it's a heavy lift. And I lean towards we want answers. I am not of the opinion that there were servers and satellites and all that other conspiracy mumbo jumbo. I think that we experienced a standalone complex. I think many different people played a different role independent of themselves. But that being said, Matt Gaetz needs to launch civil rights, conspiracy against rights investigations into Georgia, Fani Willis, into Letitia James, into Alvin Bragg. He should be looking into what these states were doing with COVID, with the elderly patients who were put in the nursing homes and died. I want to see, first and foremost, Matt Gaetz go after New York. These fake felony charges should be investigated at the federal level, conspiracy against rights, the fake civil rights charge, the fake sexual abuse claims, that we cannot tolerate as a country. The fact that they're dropping these things, that Mershon is likely to drop them, or at the federal level they're dropping these charges. I mean, look at this. They're saying, it's revenge. Matt Gaetz is going to go after these people. Jack Smith is dropping the investigations. They're walking away. The moment he gets elected, they're backing off. Mershon is expected to drop the charges in New York, even though he's already convicted because it was all fake. This country cannot survive unless we have a legal system that says you can't do that and you go to prison for breaking the law.
Well, but don't you also, I would like to see the pardons of everybody involved in January 6th.
Yes.
I would like to see
commutations and pardons.
I would like to see them all, anybody who's still in jail, released. And yes, I do want the people who put them there investigated. I do. I want them investigated. I want them tried. And if it turns out that they were throwing American citizens who went to this protest in prison and locking them away without actual due process, which is what we're now being told has happened multiple times, they need to go to prison.
But the game for the longest time was that the machine didn't go after itself. So Donald Trump gets in, and now all of a sudden they're looking at real accountability, and they're going to lie. Yeah. And so you're going to get these liberal. This is the challenge. Because no matter what happens, either the Democrats will abuse power, and if the Republicans try in any way to get accountability, they will claim this is proof Trump's a fascist and is doing everything they claimed.
Yeah.
There's no off-ramp on this.
Because it's revenge. I mean, the thing is, though, is there really is no way for you not to make it appear that it's not. There's no way, right? Because in many ways, it is a reaction. You've pulled the rubber band back so far, and it's snapped. And it's like, look, we really don't have a choice at this point.
Yeah.
Many of these things got to be investigated. And people have been so irate, especially the fallout of January 6th. You see these liberals, crazy, insane leftists like Destiny saying, lock them away, throw away the key. You'll watch them, during these multiple assassination attempts, say, hey, the guy deserved it, this kind of thing. The rhetoric and the push by the Democrat machine to imprison anybody who dissents against them. Yeah, investigate the shit out of them. Yes.
Yeah, I think that that's necessary to restore like your average American's faith in the Justice Department. Yeah. If people pay attention to the news, if they watch and I'm not talking about to the legacy media, I'm talking about like if they're looking into the actual events like that happened with the Trump trial in New York, the 34 felony charges,
farce, total farce
that they've created. Mm-hmm. If you look at those, and the problem is that your average person is aware that the Justice Department is completely and totally corrupted, right? Like, and it's not just the federal Justice Department. It's at the state level, because obviously Letitia James in New York goes after Donald Trump. She's not, it's not a federal thing. It's a state level thing. So.
Yeah, but they do it. They collude on purpose to do this.
Yeah.
So that they know that he can't have federal immunity. Yeah. So we'll do it at the state level.
Yeah.
That way it sticks. That is, by the way, I think that's a conspiracy. I think that should be investigated for a conspiracy.
I mean, to be honest with you, like that it might be a conspiracy that goes through the whole Democrat Party, like the DNC itself. But anyways, my point being, the average person's faith in the justice system has been significantly shaken.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like if you want people to trust that their justice system actually does behave in an unbiased way, you have to go and root out the people that are corrupt. Getting rid of corruption is not partisan. That's not, I don't care it'll look partisan and there will be people crying partisanship, but getting rid of corrupt people in the government, it's nonpartisan, and it shouldn't be partisan.
It just doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, but to Tim's point, Tim says, and he's right? He says, but if you go after him, no matter what, it's going to appear like revenge. And so
which is fine.
It's
so,
like,
right, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. So it's well, then lean into it and say, yeah, it is revenge, fuckers.
No, I mean,
lean into it.
I think that there are that's unnecessary.
I would
go after them as hard as you can. Go after the people that are if there's corruption, get the corruption, root them out 100%. Root out the corrupt, and don't say, oh well, we want to be nice to people so that way in the future. No. If you want to prevent corruption, what you do is you put the corrupt people in jail until they are too old to do anything.
I'm going to read a super chat, which we normally save for them, but this is a good one. And it's Austin Pearson says, I was a bought-in lefty until 2022. Realizing CNN lied about Rogan looking gray with their edited video shown to me by Timcast helped me see the reality of the left's lies. I can't thank you enough. I appreciate it. But that's why we don't say it's revenge, because it's not revenge.
No.
It is accountability under the law.
Yeah.
They're going to scream and cry revenge, and we're going to say every step of the way, these people broke the law.
Yep.
And they will weaponize that. But my point when I say it doesn't matter anymore is they're going to say it no matter what you do, but we have to do it. Otherwise, this country can't survive. But
is the optics war still there, though? Like, I might have agreed with you.
That was the point why he's just said, because even this past election, 2022 was a slight move forward for the Republicans in the House. But then we got the House, the Senate, and the presidency by 2024 because people are actually starting to be like, well, it's a combination of things. It's not just that they're waking up and coming over to the right side of history. It's that many of these people, like Joe Scarborough and Michael Brzezinski, is a good example. I'll pull this up in a second. They are fair weather political pundits. Yeah. Their politics are whatever they think. Let me see if I can actually...
But to the point, when I'm specifically on optics, when you're talking about optics, there used to be this kind of political kabuki where optics did matter a significant amount. With Trump, it doesn't seem like the optics matter that much. They paint him in the worst light possible no matter what. And when this guy was calling women dogs and, fat and everything else, nobody cared, right? They were like, good, he's right. it almost seems like perhaps on the optics front, the American people don't care because they had good optics. The Democrats had good optics this election.
I disagree. Look at the Trump shimmy versus the knee on the ground. The reason why people are feeling comfortable and wearing MAGA hats walking around New York City is because of the popular vote. Mm-hmm. They now feel like, hey, you know what? I'm not alone. Let me pull the story up, though. This is from Seattle Times. Kissing the ring. MSNBC's Morning Joe host meets with Trump to reopen lines of communication. It gets better. Take a look at this. Anna Navarro furious about Joe Scarborough and Michael Brzezinski's trip to Mar-a-Lago to see Trump. And now apparently they're getting boycotts. There's calls to boycott their show by all 28 people who watch it. Okay, it's 28,000.
Yeah.
But when I showed the ratings, which are by 1,000, it said Morning Joe 28. And I was like, only 28,000 viewers in the key demo. And everyone responded with, are you sure it's not just 28? So this is what they're being accused of. They have this clip where they said, obviously we disagree with Donald Trump, but we decided we got to do something different. We're going to go talk to him. It's too late. These people have gone so insane. Yeah. MSNBC's ratings are gone. Comcast is talking about getting rid of it. CNN's laying people off. The View is trying to hire a pro-Trump personality. That's the report that's coming out. This is why I think optics really does matter. There are regular people. I think most people are divided, but I think a default liberal, the average default liberal, is only going along with the left because they think that is the mainstream. So I was saying before the election, the reason that we have to win the popular vote is so that we can tell every single leftist you're on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
All of a sudden now we're seeing Bill Maher comes out and he's like, oh, the left, they make me so mad. Democrats are snooty. It's like, oh, really, Joe? Really, Bill? You were saying Trump couldn't win 3 weeks ago. Now he's all of a sudden like, oh, I can't believe it. Now you got Seth Moulton coming out after the election saying, look, I'm concerned about a male athlete or former male athlete running over my daughters, and I'm supposed to be afraid to say that. He couldn't say it before the election. Here's my favorite is Ezra Klein. After the election comes out and says, all these people are saying that, when you hear crime is up or the costs are up, that's Fox News. Shut the F up. I live in New York. I talk to people. They are pissed. They are experiencing this, and I'm loving it. Ezra, where were you before the election to say these things? They didn't say it because they genuinely believed that the establishment was in control, and so they were going to say whatever they had to say.
For good reason. For good reason.
These are the moral cowards who are like, I'm angry, of course, but I'm just going to say whatever they want me to say so I can dodge their ire. Then Trump wins the popular vote. Now, all of a sudden, these people are coming out being like, well, Trump was right the whole time. I mean, I was always for Trump.
But isn't this the idea of kind of the professional kabuki putting on the front of having really good optics? We say the right things. We're politically correct. We do this. The other side says, okay, screw that. They have a complete counter set to this. They're like, nope, we're not following the program. Our memes are not politically correct. We're a lot more brutal. We're a lot meaner. We're not very nice. This kind of thing. That seems like it's not optically friendly. Yet people move towards that. They moved towards that in this election. All of the things that you're kind of framing here with the View and they're clucking and this and that. That was all positive optics, right? We're nice. We're saying the right things.
I agree and disagree. I think you're right on, the right is more shocking, offensive, and edgy, but that is the positive optics. People joking, like Dave Chappelle doing he did the Chinese Asian joke stereotype. Everybody laughed. That is fun and funny. And that's what we want to do. The left was playing this moral grandstanding of we will beat you and punish you. And that was scary. People fell in line because they controlled the institution.
Right. But that's mainstream optics, right? Like that's the idea of mainstream optics. The idea of mainstream optics is don't be offensive, right? Pander correctly. Look like you have the moral high ground at all times. Be completely affronted by everything everybody says. That seems to have been kind of the mainstream optical game. Even my entire lifetime.
And that's why
Trump, I think, I feel like he capitulated too much to that.
Well, I think that's why it broke. Because once people realized I don't want to live this way, and other people, like I read that super chat where the guy says, when he saw the Rogan skin turned gray, he started to realize this is all fake.
Yeah.
So my point is, when we come for retribution and accountability, retribution, divine justice, whatever you want to call it, not revenge, not an emotional thing, it's a pragmatic thing. People need to know we maintain that we are morally correct in what we are doing, and it is dispassionate and logical.
Yeah.
So the left threatens you. We'll throw you in the gulag, do it or else. And people fall in line. We, on the other side, say, make your jokes, dude. Be edgy. I don't care. In fact, the right is a mix between people who are more conservative saying, I don't think anybody should be getting transgender surgeries, and the moderate, disaffected liberals saying, well, if you're over 18, do what you want. And this is a coalition, a unity party.
Yeah.
And the left is fall in line with us, abortion, stillbirth, or else. People were scared and believed that. The popular vote was a massive flare in the air saying, not anymore. It is no longer a silent majority. The majority doesn't believe these things. What happens is those moral grandstanders like Micah and Joe, who are calling Trump Hitler, are now all of a sudden turning tail because they're scared of being on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
They're still moral cowards. Yeah. They're still bad people. But at least now they're bending their knee to our position.
Yeah, but I mean, if the wind blows the other direction, they'll be right back there, right?
Totally,
Everybody knows it.
100%.
The other thing.
So let's not give them any slack.
Yeah. Well, no, I understand. And it's tongue in cheek saying lean into the revenge. The point is yeah, it is funny. But the point is to say, yes, they do need to actually push these investigations forward. And they need to do the same thing. They need to tie these Democrats up in the same amount of red tape that they tied Trump up in his first administration. And they prevented him from doing almost anything. He was always under some investigation for some nonsense. There was always some new investigation coming around. Now he has the Department of Justice at his disposal. He perhaps could put the right people in. Tie him up the same way. Tie them up with so much red tape, they look like a Christmas tree. You know what I mean? Do the same tactics back that they did to you. Now, is that revenge or retribution? Sure, we'll call it retribution.
Accountability.
Yeah, accountability. But the thing is, it's like you have to, unfortunately, you have to play by these tactics because otherwise you will die by them.
I agree. I think, the thing I'm concerned about is the left scared everybody away by being brutal and authoritarian.
Yeah.
And so we have to make sure everybody knows freedom's on the other side of the fire, right? Stop pandering to these people, stop pretending, and you can do your thing. And no one over here
wasn't that the opposite of the messaging? Like their messaging was, these authoritarian right-wing fascists are going to come in and this and that, and they're going to take away your right to have an abortion, the ultimate freedom,
That's the superliminal.
Yeah.
Then you had the liminal and the subliminal. And the subliminal was speak out of line and we will destroy your life.
Yeah, I agree that was the undercurrent. I do agree with that was the undercurrent. But, abortion was the left's big push on freedom, right? That was their big push on freedom.
Yeah. Didn't work.
And
women went more to Trump.
Yeah, it turned out, and this actually did surprise me. I'm sure it surprised you to an extent as well. It turns out that there's far less women interested in murdering their children as previously advertised.
Well, the joke that I love was women buy milk and eggs more than they get abortions.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, well, if I'm weighing my...
Yeah, a lot of truth in that.
But regardless of what any of us dudes here think, young women under 30 skewed towards Trump by 11 points. There was a shift towards Trump. And then one of my favorite metrics was...
You think it's because Kamala was a woman?
Oh, I don't know. But one of my favorite metrics.
Nobody hates women more than women, right?
I was just going to say the exact same thing. Nobody hates women more than women.
One of my favorite metrics was, no, I forgot where I was going with it now.
Oh, sorry.
I was going to say I agree with these leftist loony liberals.
Oh, I'm sorry. I remember now. Sorry.
Go for it.
That when the exit polling was asked, do you think democracy is under threat in the United States? The +7, so the largest block was yes, we do think. There was a 7% edge among people who said, yes, there's a threat to democracy in support for Trump. So basically, when they kept screaming democracy under threat, most people said, that's right. And it's the lawfare you are engaged in against Trump and his lawyers.
I mean, is there data to show that that's the truth, or is that just inference?
No. There
was a poll that was released after during the election where they asked
democracy
people,
was number one on the exit polls, and then number two was the economy.
What I'm saying is there a poll that delves further into the democracy thing where they're saying no, it is actually the lawfare against Trump, not people saying
that's the inference.
Because otherwise, how do you get people thinking democracy is under threat? I better vote for the guy who's threatening it?
Yeah.
No, it was because they were going after J6ers. It's because they were going to Trump's lawyers.
Yep.
That was crazy.
Yeah, which
They asked me on YouGov a lot. That was one of the questions because I love my YouGov polls to participate, and I did say yes, democracy is under threat because they didn't ask me why, Phil, but they asked me, do you think it is?
Yeah, I mean, that it does seem most likely, and it's pretty clear that the narrative spun by the left just wasn't hitting home with people. It wasn't having the effect that they wanted it to.
Well, if they had Biden, I think they would have done better.
I think you're right. Yeah,
I think they would have done better. Kamala, the big thing with Kamala, when you say this guy's a threat to democracy, and by the way, here's this candidate that was never democratically put in, right?
That's
never
true.
democratically put in, just happened to be a part of the ticket, and so we're going to run her anyway. That was that was not a good look for them. That's one, and then
Totally
two,
agree.
and then two, Kamala Harris. And I'll say this, right? You can disagree with me if you want. Nobody wanted to listen to that chick's laugh for 4 years.
Totally.
Nobody wanted to listen to it.
I agree. I do think that
I don't want to listen to it for 107 days.
No.
Yeah.
the Democrats. He may have done better, but I still don't think that he would have beat Trump because everyone saw the debate and it was clear that Joe Biden was not capable. He was not going to be able to do the job. And I don't, especially considering it's another 4 years. It wasn't just like, hey, who do you like better for the next, couple weeks or whatever. It's literally, who do you think can run the country?
There was
for the
also
next 4 years?
a really weird thing that happened after that debate that was bizarre, where we went, okay, clearly this guy's out to lunch, right? And they would go, well, Trump looks like he has cognitive decline too. That was the
next
that was
day.
the strangest counter narrative that I'd ever seen. I was like, "What are you talking about?"
They really leaned into the "I know you are, but what am I?"
Yeah.
Or they were just like
Totally.
it was. Well, Trump looks like he's got cognitive decline, and then Kamala Harris was like, "Build that wall," and like she threw on the Biden put on a MAGA hat. Like they literally were they just started stealing his policy ideas with the no tax on tips and all that stuff. So I do think that hurt the Democrats as well. So
Let's jump to this. We got this from the Daily Mail. Inside tense, CNN all hands call where CEO warned staff not to obsess over Trump as they face layoffs.
They have no choice but to obsess over.
Yeah.
Because they got nothing left. And then AP is going to be slashing 8% of their staff as major news outlets stop buying its content. So over at CNN,
You'd think the media would be super happy, right? Like the media when they were covering Trump and all the Trump outrage and this and that, like they were doing better than ever.
yes,
Not
but
anymore, right?
that's when they had the popular vote. So Hillary Clinton wins the popular vote, and they're like, let's lean into this. More people hate Trump than like him.
Yeah.
That's the majority market share. CNN is in a bind now. After 2020, they could lean into it as well. But Trump kind of dipped out for a couple of years after 2021. He was not, Ron DeSantis was actually the favorite to win for a period and predict it. Once Trump comes back, they start gleefully, twirling their mustaches. Then Trump wins the popular vote. And now they're like, okay, we don't want to be the minority market share in this one. If they double down and go anti-Trump for the next 4 years, they are intentionally burning down what little they have left.
Well, what do you think the strategy is then? They're not just going to let the guy govern.
Micah Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough were like, we met with Donald Trump and we're going to open those communications again because they're like, that's it.
Yeah.
We're done. MSNBC is dude. On YouTube, they get like 5,000 views.
Yeah.
Their key demo ratings are between like 20. It was 22 was their lowest. It was Jen Psaki. She got 22,000. You know what the worst thing in the world is for these people? I mean, could you imagine being Jen Psaki, looking into a camera and knowing that no one is listening? That's MSNBC right now.
It's all of them. It's all of them.
yeah.
And why? But what about this? Why did it take the Associated Press so long to call that election? Why?
Which one?
This one.
Oh, right. Decision Desk had
It took forever. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we knew. Everyone knew. They're like, why won't the AP call it? Why won't the AP call it? Their credibility of all of the major news networks is basically dashed. Even the left doesn't seem to like them anymore.
Nope.
And so I'm not sure exactly how they make a recovery from this. I think maybe they just don't, right? Maybe
I
they
agree.
just don't make a recovery.
They can't.
I think CNN, with the views they're getting on YouTube, will not be able to afford any of their staff.
Are they getting more than MSNBC?
They are. Yeah, CNN gets between like 50 and 150.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's like mid to large size podcasts. So the bigger podcasts may get a lot more than that. I think, for Timcast IRL, our segments can vary dramatically like most podcasts. So I don't know, we average on IRL like 80. But some of the clips are like 500. The episodes are usually around 500 plus. We have other platforms. So all in all, we get 3.5 million on average because we do the average for the ad sales, which is happening now. And then the morning show, I average 225K per video. So sometimes they're smaller depending on the news day. Sometimes they're bigger. You scroll through CNN's, it's not bad. Mid to large size podcast. Hey, how much can that really support? You can't hire Anderson Cooper off those numbers.
Right.
He gets 20 million a year.
Doesn't that lady? What does she work for? Kate and Collins. Is she MSNBC?
3 million. No, she's CNN.
She's CNN.
$3 million bucks. Can you believe that?
Yes.
Wow, she got a good agent.
Yeah.
I mean, I
What does Scarborough
It's the
pull
pretty
down?
face.
Scarborough, I think, is like 5 to 8 million or something. It might be 8 million.
Check it out.
For 20,000?
It wasn't always that bad.
I know it wasn't.
No, but
it's been getting bad though.
But they get 1 million among people older than 72.
Yeah.
And so 5 more years, which it's not even about that. There's no way. Look, they get the 72 and up crowd. I think MSNBC is 72. I think Fox is 67 and like CNN is 70. Yeah, it's bad.
He's 8 to 11 per year.
8 to 11. The thing about MSNBC is people stop advertising even to those who are alive at a certain age. There's very little to advertise because if you're in a nursing home where you're being taken care of by your family, you're not making these financial decisions anymore.
Yeah.
So Fox is big on reverse mortgages. And it's like an old woman sitting in her house and the guy is yelling at her and he's like, you can get a term loan or whatever.
Life alerts. Little life alert, reverse mortgage. Yeah.
Reverse mortgage.
Yeah.
And they got Tom Selleck. Being
Gold.
like-
Gold's the big one too.
Gold is real big.
For old folks or just
Go
Fox?
for old folks.
Gold is actually legit, though.
Yeah.
Like Costco did that gold sale and they sold out right away because nobody trusts the state of the economy. But, you know, if that's all they got left is you're 80, buy gold, I guess.
You got 2 years to live.
But here's the thing. The reverse mortgage ads you see on these channels are basically like, you're going to die anyway. Take the money now.
Yeah.
That's brutal. Don't got kids? So what? The
But I
money's
mean-
yours.
Yeah. Can you blame them? Like, it's true. It is true, right? It's like you're going to die soon. You might as well get the reverse mortgage. But back to this. Yeah, I mean, we've known that the mainstream media was dying off for a long time. I remember listening back years ago to Mark Dice. And remember, he used to talk about this all the time. He'd be like, look, I'm a guy in a kitchen who does better than most of these mainstream media networks. And he was right. He was doing better.
2013, I went to the heads of Vice and I said, we should make a YouTube channel for each personality that you guys have signed as talent. And you should have a producer come in and ask them to shoot a video where they explain the stories they're working on, what the stories are. And you can do those once per day. Hey, what's the latest? And you are going to make bank. And they're like, that's a really good idea. And then never did it. Mm-hmm. And the reason why, largely because Vice was run by older Gen Xers and young, I think mostly older Gen Xers. And the only thing they cared about was getting a cable contract.
No.
I mean, this is a company that was born from a physical magazine. And to them, it was a cable contract, the guaranteed.
Talking about Gavin's Vice?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So he was long gone.
Yeah.
But they were basically like, once we get that cable channel, we got guaranteed revenue. And I was like, in 2013, you should be on YouTube. For them, they were kind of like, yeah, we do YouTube. I don't know, whatever. We want cable TV because YouTube was small. Now YouTube's everything.
Yeah.
And Vice is bankrupt and wiped out.
Yeah.
They could have done it. They could have had it. They could have had exactly what we're doing right here. And so could ABC News. They don't listen because they're big machines that don't know how to adapt. So now, what did they do? You know what? They chased after the short-term high. They said, Orange Man is bad, run with it. And now, Orange Man is not bad. He's actually quite popular. Everyone's doing the Trump shimmy, even the NFL, John Jones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And now Micah and Joe have no choice. I bet Joe and Micah sat down, and Joe looked at Micah and was like, Donald Trump's popular. Who are we talking to? And the producer came in and said, you had 28,000 key demo viewers. You're talking to nobody. And I got to be honest, Joe, those viewers, hotel lobbies. That's it. So no one listens anymore. He's going to have to go pro-Trump.
And they dropped so many right after the
AOC's
election
trying too.
because because Monday they called him, was it right next? He's adjacent to Hitler, and then by Friday they're having lunch with the guy.
Yeah.
Look, when you spend,
Lunch with Hitler.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. When you spend as much time doing exactly what we're talking about, calling him Hitler, calling him all the most terrible names that you can come up with, and say that he's literally the reincarnation of the worst dictator of the 20th century, blah 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 blah. And then he wins not just the Electoral College, but wins the popular vote. Smart people are going to recalibrate. And you have to say, okay, look, this didn't work. What am I missing? Right now, I do think that they deserve to be scrutinized. I'm not saying that you should respect.
I only
them or
see him
anything.
doubling down, though. I mean,
With Joe and Mika,
these dinosaurs may not, but if you look at these general YouTubers or people like this who are now dispensing the news, right? These are the guys who are now dispensing it. They may use these as sources.
They're morons.
Right? But people are getting
They're
getting their news from all these little tiny little channels everywhere. They might use these as sources, but that's where people are getting it. They're doubling down. They're like, look, absolutely, Democrats don't need to change anything. This was a fluke. This was a one-off.
Yeah, Hassan.
That's what
Majority
they're
Report, all
Pikers,
those
your-
terrible people.
Yeah, your destinies. They are, but they're all idiots. Like, they're feeding.
Yeah, but why should we expect change from them then? If that's
That's
what
not what
I'm.
I'm. That's not.
Was it you
That wasn't the
debating
argument
Destiny?
I was making.
I don't know if it was you debating Destiny, but someone brought up democracy. He was saying that Trump was a threat to democracy or something like this, and then someone mentioned if Trump wins the popular vote, isn't that democracy?
Yeah.
And he was just like, well, now is it really about democracy?
No.
I wonder. Well, of course, I know that the answer is no. I'm saying he wants to make the argument that it's about democracy only because they won the popular vote and assumed Kamala was going to win the popular vote.
Yeah.
Bill Maher said, Trump can't win. He's not going to win. Kamala's going to get the popular vote at least. Once they realized that was not true and Trump is the more popular side of history, now so many of these people are changing their tunes. I doubt Kyle or Pac-Man or Sam Seed or any of these people, Destiny, they're not going to change their tunes because they've embedded themselves in this fringe ideology and hateful rhetoric. They're in trouble.
Big trouble.
Because what happened with the adpocalypse and cancellation is going to start happening to them. It's quite simple.
It's already happening on Twitch.
Oh, right. They're getting banned.
Yeah. Banned. Done.
Lefties are?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a big story recently. Who was the big ban?
They're fighting right now with Hassan, right?
The Twitter adpocalypse.
Yeah, the Twitter adpocalypse.
Sorry, the Twitch.
Yeah,
adpocalypse.
Twitch adpocalypse. I mean, the thing is, you see this across the board. The left is getting absolutely demolished on rhetoric. They overplayed their hands, but I'm telling you, none of these leftist creators are saying anything other than double down, double down, double down. The TikTok trends that I see when I engage with these TikTok lunatics all over the internet, and I do it all the time, is the same exact thing. Double down, double down, double down, double down. They say Orange Man bad, Trump is bad. We're not changing anything. They don't seem like they want to change anything.
Let's jump to this from tribune.com.pk. I have no idea what this is. What is this? The Express Tribune. They say Asmongold blames Hassan Abi for Twitch's adpocalypse affecting streamers' ad revenue.
It's actually Destiny's.
Destiny is?
Well, it's not Destiny himself. It's Destiny's followers because they're going after us.
Well, let's get the story first.
Yes.
All right. So they say Asmongold explained his position during his broadcast, saying Hassan clearly is one of the biggest proponents of this. I would say he is the main reason. He added a majority of the examples used in discussions about demonetization on Twitch pertain to Hassan Abi. That's Hassan Piker. Maybe not 90, maybe 80, 70, but it is the majority of all examples on the entire platform. The adpocalypse refers to a reduction in ad revenue across Twitch, reportedly affecting some creators by as much as 90%.
Yeah.
Industry experts, including Devin Nash, have previously linked the issue to polarizing political content on the platform. Hassan Abi has faced criticism for his coverage of Middle Eastern conflicts with allegations of promoting anti-Semitic rhetoric.
Yep.
U.S. Congressman Richie Torres even cited Hassan Piker in a congressional letter accusing Twitch of amplifying extremist voices. Asmongold defended his stance, stating, "You can say it's unfair, that's fine, but you can't say that it's not happening or that it's not the reason." He also criticized Twitch for its inconsistent moderation policies.
Yeah.
They go on to mention that Twitch has not officially commented on the controversy, but recently updated its hateful conduct policy regarding the term Zionist.
Because the ADL told him to.
Is that, well, look, hey, man.
Yeah, not kidding. The ADL put in a policy. They said, nope, you got to do this. They capitulated to the ADL immediately.
This is liberals and leftists' welcomes to leopard ate my face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Leopards ate my face. This is, they advocated and begged, and to this day, they still beg for it. And I am happy to watch them crumble and wither into a dried husk of their former selves.
Well, the gamers all over Twitch are like, no, they want all political content off of Twitch. Gamers are begging Twitch, get rid of political content. We don't want it. We want ad-friendly content. That's us gaming, right? That's ad-friendly content. We don't want this. But for Twitch, these guys are cash cows, right? Hassan, they're cash cows.
Destiny has a viral video right now where he says that all of the people on the right should be banned
including you.
including me.
Yeah.
He says people like,
By name?
By name.
Yeah, by name.
I don't know who else he mentions. I don't remember, but he says Tim Pool. These people, they're only awful, and their platform should be totally banned. And I'm like,
He said Tucker Carlson.
Right. Yep.
He said Tim Pool. He said there was
Owens.
multiple personalities that referenced.
I'm in complete agreement right now with him, and I'm glad he brought it up because we hold the power of the institutions. We won the popular vote. The advertisers are siding with X, and he's going to get himself banned for screaming this. And bye-bye, Destiny.
Yo, Disney came back to X too, even.
That's what I'm talking about. All the major corporations are coming back to X because Destiny and his ilk are on the wrong side of history.
Yeah.
Destiny wanted to make the argument about democracy and all that. Well, he's anti-democracy. The more he complains, he is opposed to the will of the people. So if he wants to advocate for bannings, I say, well, don't look at me. But my stance on this has changed.
And he's by the way, this guy's always been a deplatformer. I mean, going way back, he's always been the advocate for deplatforming, unless it's him. Unless it's
10 years ago, I was in the we shouldn't ban people, we protect free speech, even for those who disagree with camp. Now I'm in the I do not defend my enemies.
Yes.
Destiny wants to burn down free speech. I say, hey, man, you're on your own. So when they start ripping their revenue away and banning them out, and Hassan as well, I just say, sucks for you guys, I guess. I ain't going to speak up for you.
No.
Yeah, like, I mean, I'm not.
Suffer.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit there. I would never go and go out of my way to try and like get someone banned, but I'm not going to do one. I'm not going to lift one finger.
Right.
I'm not going to waste one bit of breath trying to defend him. Or anyone that says, "Oh, these people should be banned." If you're advocating for banning people, like, beat it. I'm not going to defend you.
What these people are saying is even so much worse than that. It's not even just the idea of democracy. What Destiny was saying in that video clip, and I've heard this echoed from guys like Pacman and many others, is that all of humanity is benefited by you being gone. You even having a place to say anything is an existential threat to humankind itself.
That's what he was saying. Right?
And all that happens is that the world's going to improve by getting rid of you. That's a call to action.
Yeah.
That's an actual call to action. We must do this. We need to get rid of these people. How is it not if you say these people are an existential threat to everybody, right?
Well,
How's that not really a call to action? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
There's a reason why, and this is actually a fascinating metric I'd love to study. Maybe we could hire like maybe People's Pundit, Rich Bears could help us out with this. After the election, that was a major inflection point. CNN and MSNBC's ratings collapsed.
Yep.
David Pacman, Brian Tyler Cohen, they started bleeding subscribers.
Yeah.
And he made a big deal out of it.
Yeah, he did.
And then when we responded, he made another big deal out of it. If you look at their accounts on X, AOC lost like 150K this month, more now. They're fleeing to Blue Sky or other apps. And so we saw in the inverse, Fox News' ratings go up. Our viewership skyrocketed. We jumped a substantial amount. We are still seeing increased ratings. Right now, we're at 60,625 concurrent views, where we were averaging before like 45K. So we've seen a boost. I'm wondering if this is regular people were watching these leftists, these liberals, believed them, saw that the majority of the country did not agree. Some of them either asked themselves, am I wrong? Some of them said, oh, crap, I'm on the wrong side of history. But I'm wondering if we can actually track that sentiment among people who ditched the liberal shows and are rushing over here. And I think then the reason why people like Destiny are saying we'd be better off without them is because then the viewers would have nowhere else to go and they'd be trapped in his sycophantic lie machine.
Well, it's always been the case that the leftists on Twitch and on YouTube have always pulled their resources, especially on Twitch, to remove any right-wing personality who existed there. For a good example of this, Fuentes was on Twitch. He was vastly popular. I think, to my understanding, he did follow the terms of service that they had set down at the time. They got rid of him because leftists collectively demanded that they get rid of him. That was it. And it's because, why? Well, he siphoned a ton of viewers. And because of that, he siphons their money. And that's what it comes down to, right? You're exactly right. They want to have the pool of viewership and the pool of cash. So, yeah, they do collectively demand often that right-wingers be removed from these platforms, whether they're breaking the TOS or not. They don't care. And they'll make shit up. I've seen them make up various things. I've seen them say, this guy's advocating for transgender genocide and all sorts of crazy things that nobody ever said anything about in order to push reports to various platforms to get you deplatformed.
The craziest thing I've been talking about for the past month, I went onto the front page of YouTube. I normally don't look. I don't go onto YouTube and look at default not signed in account like a fresh browser login. And I started to because we saw our viewership spike randomly. And I was like, okay, we got to be featured. Like, they put you on the front page, your viewership's going to jump. So I go to the front page, and sure enough, I see Timcast IRL, and I'm like, wow, something changed in the algorithm. I don't know if it's after the CEO passed on, rest in peace, no disrespect. The new CEO had a change of heart and said, if the show's good, it's good, put it on the front page. What I noticed, though, when I started looking, there are channels that will take a clip of me from this show talking about, I don't know, roosters, and then put that in a screen with Cenk Uygur, who is talking about tax rates from 5 years ago, and make it seem like we're debating. And they'll get 30,000 views on it and make money. That's insane and freaky stuff. So you'll get a video where, I can't remember, one of them I saw made the claim that me and Cenk Uygur were fighting with each other, and we were enemies, and I was like, that's really weird. Like, he was actually, we were talking to him about coming on the show, and everything was cordial. We disagreed, but he's been cordial. So I clicked the video, and it was a total fabrication. And it had like 38,000 views or something. And I was like, holy crap. I went back and I saw a bunch of these, Ben Shapiro debating a guy, and different channels doing it. They realize that this space and these debates get traffic and people want to see it. They realize that big names attract the viewers. And so they can make a fake video. They don't call it parody or anything like that. They just say, wow, look at this. Whoa. And then they play it. It's
that's been going on for years. People tapping into the large content creators have conflict.
But making these fake videos I've never seen before. They do it all. Yeah, they've been doing it for a while. Making videos from two different channels totally unrelated to each other and combining them to make a fake debate.
Well, maybe not specifically that. Was it an actual fake debate that they hosted? Oh, really?
Yeah. It was like a short video with a couple clips. One of them was me. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but let's say I'm talking about, Joe Biden comes out and says Trinidad Shabbat pressure.
Yeah.
And then I go, what was that? That was gibberish nonsense. The man's not even speaking English now. How could you sit there and tell me this guy is giving me an honest argument? And then it would be a clip of Cenk Uygur going, don't say that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I mean, that's old. That's an old way to do satire too.
Yeah, but this was not satire. It was a guy hosting it going, hey guys, so I was watching the debate with Tim and Cenk, and it was really crazy because Tim was saying these, and I was like, what?
Just totally fabricated?
Yes, 100%. And there were a bunch of them from different people,
wow.
And I was like, yo, what is this? That's freaky.
So they just look at what's trending in the algo, maybe, and then try to push that content out.
Certain names get clicks.
Yeah, of course.
It's like when people make the clips from this show where they edit it in funny ways, where it's like me and Ian staring into each other's eyes, and then the next clip is like we're not there anymore, and then those are funny. But these videos are weird. Anyway, to your point, the reason I bring it up, it is like Sam Seder is the king of this. He just makes things up every day. It's like his whole show is just fabricated. The dude literally came on the Culture War podcast.
I know, I watched it.
Did you see when he said, that's the clip I was trying to get?
Yep.
He admitted to doing it. So this guy, Sam Seder, comes on.
He was very, so I was expecting when he came on that this was going to be a really kind of a good exchange because Seder is known as being a fairly decent debater inside of these spheres. I never thought so, but he's known for being one. And he was just kind of doddering. Yeah. It was like, I want to make an allegation, but I can't make an allegation, but I want to make an allegation.
The best example is I outright said I'm pro-choice. I think it due to the impossibility of regulating certain issues pertaining to health. And so I said the Supreme. So I don't want to relitigate the whole argument. The point was Supreme Court has to give us an answer on personhood as to whether the 14th Amendment applies to the unborn as persons, not citizens. Mm-hmm. We don't have that. I believe a conservative court will, and that will ban abortion overnight. It would require adjudication for it. Personally, I said, as of right now, I'm more pro-choice. I think abortion is wrong, but I see an impossibility in properly regulating it right now because of various issues.
Cringed him.
Sure,
Cringed
that's fine.
him.
And that's fine. And I said, so I think, I don't know if it's 15, 18, 22 weeks, whatever that number is, we'll find where a woman can just go in. And I said, there are questions of consent. He then asks me a hypothetical. How would you deal with consent? I'm like, should we get a rape kit, I guess? And he was like, so a woman would have to get a rape kit to prove that she didn't consent. And I was like, yes. My argument was never that I thought women should be forced to do these things. Mine was, I'm pro-choice up to a certain amount, pre-viability. A woman doesn't need a reason at all. I think it's wrong. And we want to go the Ron Paul route. It should be unthinkable, not illegal. In the event of consent, he asks me, he then goes off and starts saying things like, you're disgusting, you son of a, you're so gross. And I'm sitting here being like, oh, here he goes. You're trying to get a clip. After he was finished with his overly emotional rant, he just calms down and goes, that was the clip I was trying to get. Outright admitting on the show, he just wanted to cause a scene. It's remarkable. This is what the left does, and this is why they lose. If I said something to you like, if you were a leftist, Andrew, if you were like a hardcore leftist, what do you think tax-wise, what tax rate would you advocate for?
90% of
You
the
insane.
rich.
You
Exactly.
really? And then
You're disgusting.
And then what we do is we clip the part where I say, what tax rate would you advocate for? You say 90%.
Yeah.
And I claim, and that's what he does, and it's fake. His whole show is fake. And this is what they do. And so the reason why they don't like the competition is because they want to be able to lie, manipulate the algorithm, make money. They are what they project onto others. They say everyone else is grifting, and it's one big scam. But you know what? Greg Gutfeld, I gotta give him credit for it every time I say this because it was masterfully said. The left, their whole worldview is downstream from hoaxes. Everything they talk about is derivative of a hoax. But once you see through one of them, there's no going back.
Yeah.
My response to that is that explains SNL, for instance. The jokes on SNL that don't make sense, where they have RFK Jr. out and come out and be like, got to get rid of all the vaccines. And I was like, well, what's the joke? I mean, RFK Jr. is not anti-vax. Oh, it's because in their hoax world, they think he hates vaccines. And then you actually listen to the guy like any sane person, and he's like, I think vaccines should undergo rigorous testing like every other medication, and I recommend them. And you're like, oh, so it's like a moderate position. It's totally normal.
Yeah, well, in satire, if it doesn't point at the truth, isn't funny. That's the point, right? And so when people say Saturday Night Live, for instance, isn't funny, because because you're not pointing at the truth. And if you're not pointing at the truth, you can't have any humor. Otherwise, what are we even talking about, right?
So anyway, I digress. I'm done ranting about those people. But so what? Twitch revenue is just flat. The stock guys says his ad revenue is down 95%.
Yeah, well, I mean,
YouTube ad revenue is way up. Damn.
Twitch had a great opportunity with their platform before they sold out. They had some great shows on there with some great talent, and they literally buckled under to Hassan Piker. I mean, basically, whatever Hassan wants on that platform, Hassan gets, and that's that. So if you're a popular right-wing entertainer or commentator, you go on there and you make fun of the golden boy, you're gone. I mean, that's it. So Twitch has always been unfriendly to the right. Everybody knows it.
Yeah. Yep.
But now it's so beyond obvious, and that's why the gamers there like, look,
Isn't Twitch Amazon?
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, I think Bezos must have had a conversation with somebody. You know, he comes out and says, Washington Post, we're not going to endorse. He's like, oh, we have to be impartial. I think when the left started saying that they were going to pass these taxes on unrealized gains, and he actually got us to defend Jeff Bezos, or I should say that the left got us to defend Jeff Bezos. I'm like, Bezos doesn't make $1 billion a year. His salary, I think, is $1 million plus it's $80,000 plus bonus. So he makes a couple $1 million per year. He takes out loans against his stock. He cannot sell the stock because of contractual obligations with the structure of the company.
Yeah, but he takes out the loan so he doesn't have to pay taxes on the money.
Well, he can't take out the money. So this is the issue. He owns Amazon. They have, when he wants to sell stock, the stock has to reach a threshold before he can liquidate it.
Yeah.
So if we were to tax him on unrealized gains, he'd be like, I don't have any of that money.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, sell your stock. I'm not legally allowed to sell the stock. If the government then intervened in the Amazon contract to force him to sell the stock, it would gut the value
Yeah, but
of
what
Amazon.
isn't the idea here, though, that you set the company up so that it operates that way so you can take out loans. You're taking out loans against what your potential net worth is, because on a loan, when you're paying the loan back, you don't have to pay any taxes on that.
You don't have to set up the company that way to do that. So if you are the owner of a company and you have liquid stock and you unrealize $1 million in gains, you have unrealized gains of $1 million, you could liquidate the stock or you can get a loan against it.
Yeah, that's true.
Bezos' structure, for whatever reason, by all means accuse him of that structure or otherwise, he can't just sell. But there is no unrealized gains tax, so there's no reason to do that. The structure, I think, has to do with the investors who came in, and if he were to sell too much stock at once, it would tank the value of the company. If they pass unrealized taxes like Kamala wanted to do, he's screwed.
Yeah.
They just he loses the company.
Yep.
So he must have been like, turn it around. Twitch, Washington Post, everything. We're pro-Trump now, or at the very least neutral. And that's, but to be honest, the advertisers leaving Twitch likely has more to do with the Zionism stuff. Hassan Piker's had some real messed up stuff.
It's part of it. But I mean, it's been happening for a while. The decline of Twitch has been going on for a while, especially with Twitch politics. Twitch politics used to be a pretty brutal place that was kind of fun to go to. Had a lot of good political commentators there. That's all done. That it just doesn't even exist there anymore. Now all that exists is a couple of these big personalities, and if they want you off, you're off. The gamers absolutely hate all the political, any political talk whatsoever, because it's supposed to be a gaming platform, right? So, it doesn't make any sense. Their moderation policy makes no sense, and people just stop watching it. They just don't want to support it.
Let's shift back to politics. We got the story from the Post Millennial. This is big news. PA Supreme Court demands Bucks County follow ruling to not count ineligible ballots during Senate race recount. Well, we've got a couple candidates for the investigation Matt Gaetz could launch. This is, Chuck Ross says, Diane Ellis Marseglia, the Bucks County commissioner who was openly breaking the law to count invalid ballots, contributed to Bob Casey's campaign in September. For those who don't know, this is the third time the PA Supreme Court has told Democrats to stop counting illegal ballots. I don't think they're going to stop. The funny thing is, everyone in the country is watching this happen. The New York Times and NBC have even been critical, or at the very least pointed out, that Democrats are openly breaking the law and stating they're doing it. So what do we arrest them?
Did they? Well,
yes.
I mean, yes. Once you get,
why is that such a foreign concept to be? It's like, arrest them.
Once Trump gets into office, whoever ends up being the AG needs to go and send the FBI and arrest them because they're trying to tamper with elections. Clearly, they're knowingly tampering with elections. So go wrap them up. Go ahead and send, if you want to send an entry team to their door at 6 in the morning, 5 in the morning, I'm all for that.
I think you have the opposite result, too, that people think. Like, people think, everyone's going to think you're an authoritarian. I think most people would be like, it's about fucking time. It's about time.
Take a look at this Bucks County Senate race. It was McCormick, and now it flipped Bob Casey. It's not going to change the results. And I think the New York Times hasn't even called the Senate race, to be completely honest. Yeah, the New York Times won't call it, despite the fact that Casey cannot win. So now the New York Times is actually counting what everyone knows to be illegal ballots.
Yes.
This number should not be inverted. The New York Times should not be calculating illegal ballots the Supreme Court of PA said do not count. That's wild that they're doing this.
And that lady says she was going to count the illegal votes just to make sure that the higher courts pay attention to it. Well, if we get our DOJ in there, they're going to definitely pay attention to it. And
not if. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if Donald Trump will be inaugurated and, there's going to be someone that's going to be the
she's going to get her wish.
Republicans have this really bad habit of doing this. Okay, that's all in the past. We're all going to look forward now to the future. We're going to let all of this go. They have a bad habit of doing this.
New world.
I understand what you're saying, but I do think that especially the people around Trump, Trump is looking to go in and get rid of a lot of the corruption. That is the mandate, as far as I can tell. That's the mandate that he's got to get in and drain the swamp. He said that he was going to do it in his first term. Thank you. But he obviously wasn't prepared to do it because he didn't understand how the government worked, how deep the rot went, etc. Now he's got significantly more information. He's much wiser. He's not nearly as naive as he was. Now, again, I'm not saying that he's going to be perfectly successful, but there is going to be an actual, I believe that there's going to be an actual real attempt that's not just like, I'm going to go in there and fire everybody. I think that the last 4 years that he's had without being the president, I think it's all very good that happened, honestly. As much as people want to say, 2020 was...
I agree.
Was unfairly decided. It's good that he had that happen because he had not just to see what they did when he was in office, but the way that they treated him and the things that they've tried to do since he was out of office.
Well, he doesn't have anything to lose.
No, nothing to lose.
He has nothing to lose at this point. In the next 4 years, he's got 4 years to basically get rid of these scumbags who have done this.
18 months. 18 months. He has 18 months. He doesn't have 4 years because once the midterm, the races for the midterms start, he's not going to get any kind of support from Congress.
Yep. Unless there's not a flip.
Fair enough, but you don't know, and so he's got it. But he has to get it done as soon as possible.
And I would agree with you because we were talking with I can't remember who we had on the show. They said once
Roger Stone. right?
No.
Oh.
Roger Stone was not in the show for a minute.
Shoot.
Once you get to the midterm cycle, a lot of these squishy Republicans are going to be too scared to take these actions because they'll lose. However, I'm going to make the argument now that I don't know is a guarantee, but I think right now the shape of this country is if Republicans try and play that game, they'll lose no matter what. If Republicans play the I'm not going to do anything, they lose. Goodbye. Because no Republican will vote for you. So if you're a Republican, you want to win, the only option you have is to get behind the popular agenda. Because if time comes and you say, you know, look, I'm in a moderate district, so I'm not going to support Trump's agenda and hope I can win Democrat votes, every Republican they'll primary you. They'll be like, you are done, and we're going to get someone else to run against you.
We are sick and tired of them sitting on their hands writing strongly worded letters.
Well, yeah,
Now's
but
the time.
the threat is primary. He's got to get as much done as possible, as long as there is the capacity to primary the people that decide they're not going to go along with him.
Well, we never primary anybody.
No, but the point is that there's a lot of people that are ready to do it, and there's money to do it too, because Elon Musk said that his America PAC will fund primary challenges. So get on board, Republicans. Again, Donald Trump has 18 months, and if you're going to inhibit what the American people have voted for, which is to do as much damage to the corrupt people in the bureaucracy, in the entrenched bureaucracy, get as many of the corrupt people out of there and put them in jail. If you're going to stand in the way, you're going to get primaried. That's not. There's no question about that. Musk's got a boatload of money in the America PAC, and they're going to be watching for people that don't fall in line to support the agenda.
Musk has a massive
Motivation.
He has a massive information machine.
Yeah.
So I mean, the idea here is that working in tandem with Trump, that they can identify who these people are, so that the Justice Department can go after them, and the American people are informed of what's happening.
And because of X, and because of people like Tim, this show here and stuff, these elected officials, they're going to be put on blast. Like, if we get wind of it, someone that's been hindering the efforts to actually get the corrupt people. Again, we're not trying to go after people that are innocent or just trying to mess with people just to mess with people. If you're hindering,
how many of them are innocent though?
Fair enough. But the point being is, I don't want to sound like we're just looking to get the Democrats. I want people to understand that we're after the corrupt. There's plenty of people that are corrupt, and I agree with you. You know, more corruption than not corrupt. But the point is, shows like this, people like Elon Musk, platforms like X, make it impossible to hide. If you're not falling in line with the Trump agenda, and you're just looking to pad your re-election, you're going to get primaried.
Well, if he makes that if he makes it a priority, immediate priority, to go after the same people who were responsible for what happened to these people on January 6th, throwing them in jail, not giving them fair trials, none of this. If he really moves towards an agenda like that, then I think he'll be extremely popular immediately.
I think so,
and he'll keep that momentum going. But if he does the same shit that we saw last time, where it's the forgive and forget, or just looking forward, he's done.
I think we're getting way more.
Gaetz already. I'm like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Like, if he chose somebody else, you know, I hear Ratcliffe. I'm like, okay, you know, all right. I was hoping for Kash Patel, but maybe Kash will be FBI director.
Gaetz wants blood.
Yeah. So when
Gaetz
he said Gaetz, I was sitting on my phone and I'm scrolling and my eyes are half closed. I can't remember what time the announcement came out. I just started yelling, and I ran to Allison, and I was like,
She's like, why are you yelling?
Crap! Yeah, she was like, what's going on? I was like, because first I saw Tulsi Gabbard, and I was like, all right, Tulsi Gabbard, DNI, let's go. Then I saw Matt Gaetz, and I was like, oh. So Trump.
Are we going to see a Rand Paul audit the Fed?
Oh, dude.
Are we going to see it? Are we going to see a Rand Paul audit the Fed?
I don't know.
He could be part of Doge. I
mean, Mike Johnson's in Trump's entourage at UFC.
That's kind of weird, but yeah, I guess it means a lot.
Yet, Trump can get Gaetz in through a recess appointment as long as Mike Johnson says, I want to adjourn. Senate says no. Trump says, Article 2, Article 2, Section 3, I think. He says, you're hereby adjourned. Then I will appoint through recess for the next year, Matt Gaetz as AG, have fun. Mike Johnson being there with him on the plane, leaning over as they're eating McDonald's.
Yes.
He's in the entourage.
That's a
It's
big
like you're
deal.
bringing a nerdy kid into your cool club.
Not only that, but what that is doing is it is messaging to Congress.
Yeah.
It is messaging to Congress. He is saying, as the Speaker of the House, I am on board with the president's agenda. So you are going to have to get on board. And the guy that John Cornyn, I think, is the guy that's the new
No, Thorne.
Thune. Yeah, Thune. So I don't know the whole deal, but I retweeted a thread about some of the backroom deals, and the point of getting Thune was to actually get things like to make it so that way you could get amendments back in bills, because Congress has been voting on bills without amendments for ages and ages and ages, and they're trying to undo the damage that's been done by making everything vote on the whole bill. And if you can get actual amendments back into the bill, then you can get the Senate to have the power and the position back that it was supposed to have. And that's another thing that will help get the Trump agenda.
Well, I don't trust Senate, but don't matter.
Sure.
I think, bill-wise and legislatively, these things can be undone. Who knows? It'll be good. Fine. We need proof of citizenship for federal elections. See, I think there's a deal component with Trump and Mike Johnson where he says, look, Matt Gaetz didn't want you. Matt Gaetz wanted Jim Jordan or somebody else. He obstructed. He led the charge. We'll take him out of your hair. He tells the NRCC, Trump goes, look, Matt Gaetz will no longer be an issue for you. He's going to be my AG. So long as you guys agree to either help him get in or recess appointments. Then Matt Gaetz is out of Congress, and no one's going to get in the way of the NRCC and who they want for their leadership. And they're probably like,
Great.
good deal.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, okay. So they're probably thinking, fine, you can have Gaetz. Take him. We don't want him. And then the rest of us are like,
I hear he's not liked by anyone, not by his policies, but just because he's such a firebrand, even by his own colleagues.
But it is because Congress is so corrupt.
Right. I like it.
There's a component of this with AOC as well, and the squad. The candidates who are funded by individual donors, they don't have to fundraise as often. They can go online and be like, money, and it trickles in. The other rank and file guys and men and women have to be on the phone every day. They have to raise that money so they can pay off either the DCCC or the NRCC. Matt Gaetz is like, screw you guys. I can do whatever I want. You don't have power over me.
Yeah.
They don't like that.
Yeah, well, and some of these people, to be perfectly honest, are bland and boring. And Gaetz, for instance, he's fun to listen to.
Yes,
as
he
a
is.
public speaker, you want to tune in. So when you have that kind of charisma, it's very easy for you to self-fund if you need to as well.
And this,
right?
This also lines up Gaetz for a higher level position potentially in a future administration. So some people are saying Vance Gaetz 2028.
Ooh.
Yeah. Gaetz AG, though, is
Well, we'll see on Vance.
Are we going to
I'm
pass
not
on
sure about
Tulsi because
Vance,
our bench is
as
so deep?
president.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
I feel-
Vance as president.
I agree. I do feel like he's a great VP, and I think he has potential. He showed this on the debate, but
He was a never Trumper.
I don't care about that. My bigger
was-
concern is, where we go in 4 years, does Vance break the barrier of a grandiose figure like a Trump? No one's going to be Trump.
Yeah.
Right now, Vance is a really great VP. He's exactly what Trump needed. I think he was a great choice. Will he be the presidential, charismatic, loud, booming voice? We'll see. But I'm looking forward to it.
He seems like, but this was the one thing that got me. I understand politically why he went with Vance, but Pence turned on Trump. And Pence was a pretty good VP for the most part. He was okay.
Yeah, he
was okay.
C plus, good,
Yeah,
not great.
Yeah, he was fine,
Yeah,
right?
he was okay.
But the thing is like he turned on Trump very quickly. He turned on Trump. Still is turned on Trump. And so to get a never Trumper, it's like right now, while it's a popular thing to do, this type of thing, yeah, sure, he might seem great, but I worry the chips are down. Is it time for Vance to snake? He looks like a snake to me. He does. He looks like a beady-eyed little snake. Don't trust the guy.
I don't know.
Tim, real quick, I meant General Flynn instead of
and
the
Flynn
other
was
guy.
on.
Yeah.
Let's jump to this story from Fox News. New York Times fact check of RFK Jr.'s claim about popular breakfast cereal stuns social media. Spitting out my coffee after reading this New York Times fact check of RFK Jr., one ex-user wrote. Well, if you're drinking cast brew coffee, you would never spit it out. So go to castbrew.com. See how I did that? That was pretty good, right?
It's delicious.
So
Is this about Yellow 5?
So check it out. Here's the original article from the New York Times, And it is such a good, ridiculous, I call it a hat trick. It's whatever the right is for, we're opposed to. It is fake news and a stealth edit because they did change it after a while. So they say this: Mr. Kennedy has singled out Fruit Loops as an example of a product with too many artificial ingredients, questioning why the Canadian version has fewer than the U.S. version. But he was wrong. The ingredient list is roughly the same, although Canada's has natural colorings made from blueberries and carrots, while the U.S. product contains red dye 40, yellow 5, blue 1, as well as butylated hydroxytoluene, or BHT, a lab-made chemical that is used for freshness, according to the ingredient label. So everybody saw that and they were like, so he was right?
Totally right.
Yeah.
100% right.
So here's what they do. They stealth edit the article, and now it says something totally different. Now it says, let me jump to Fruit Loops. Look, they had to put a correction in at the bottom. Let me, where are we at? It says, Mr. Kennedy has singled out Fruit Loops as an example of a product with too many ingredients. In an interview with MSNBC on November 6th, he questioned the overall ingredient count. Why do we have Fruit Loops in this country that have 18 or 19 ingredients and you go to Canada as 2 or 3? He was wrong on the ingredient count and then goes on to say the same thing. The problem is it's still a ridiculous fact check because we know what he meant. No, he doesn't literally think that Fruit Loops has 3 ingredients. It's going to have wheat, water, egg, whatever, sugar, coloring. He was saying basically that we have garbage in our foods that they don't have, and he's completely correct. We have butylated hydroxytoluene, BHT.
Well, in yellow 5, which is a coal, it's an industrial coal like a byproduct.
This is, I think dye names should be banned. The first thing RFK Jr. can do, if he can't ban them, he should require that they call them what they are. Yellow 5 is tartrazine. Call it tartrazine. And in parentheses, coal derivative. But the problem is, unless you ban it, this is why I'm not a libertarian. People don't care. They will eat plastic if it is sold to them. And it is a problem in this country. The libertarians tell me all the time, if they sell a bad product, they'll go out of business. That's not true because every single diner sells hydrogenated cottonseed oil and calls it butter spread.
Well, they're addicting. Like Doritos are addicting. You can't say
they're so good.
Yeah, you can't say things like,
love Doritos.
Whoa, people, this tricks your brain into not knowing when you're full. That's why somebody can sit down and eat an entire bag of Doritos. It tricks your brain. You don't know that you don't actually want more Doritos.
Yeah.
The idea here, these food chemists do, they go in and take these foods, they add additives, which do that. They become addicting in and of themselves. You go, okay, well, you're selling an addicting product from the shelves. And then you say, well, people, once they're informed, they'll just stop buying this highly addictive product. Well, that hasn't happened with smoking. That hasn't happened with all sorts of. So, yeah, some of these things you do have to just do an outright ban. You got to be like, no. And there's no reason for us to have yellow 5 and Fruit Loops. That's
Agreed.
insane.
This is what pisses me off. Apparently, the food company said when they removed these dyes, people didn't want to buy them anymore, so they brought them back. And I was like, don't care. Literally don't care. I got pissed off when I was reading on the story this morning because we went to go, Allison and I, and we went with Richie. We went to the river to cook breakfast in the morning, and they got a rope swing over the water, and it's just so amazing out here. And this was actually Maryland, not West Virginia. Okay. And so I was like, let's get some eggs, goat cheese, cheddar, bacon. We'll fry it up over a fire. Mm-hmm. I was looking for. I don't want to bring avocados out, so I was like, I'll get a tube of the mashed avocado they have. I grabbed one and looked in the back. And it was mixed with Gelen gum, locust bean gum, sodium benzoate. And I'm like, nope, not eating that garbage. Right next to it was the same one. Turn it around. Avocado, sea salt, lime.
Done.
And I was like, I don't understand why this other one has the ridiculous, weird garbage all in it.
Because of expense. So the idea with Fruit Loops, let's take Fruit Loops. You could get the Fruit Loops to have all those colors using something like blueberry, carrot. We know this. How? Because it just told us that they do that in Canada, right? Slightly alters the taste. Maybe it doesn't even slightly alter the taste, but it probably makes the product more expensive. And so if it makes it more expensive, they don't want to invest in it. That's it.
I want to play this clip.
It's a wholesome, nutritious breakfast cereal.
This is Chris Mowry. And this is a part of the story. This is whatever it is the right likes, we hate. Listen to this.
The reason chronic disease in the United States is increasing is not because of chemicals in the food. Okay, as Donald Trump takes power and we're all reeling from the fact that this psychopath is going to be in office, some of the most misinformation that we're going to have to fight against together is health related. RFK Jr. is an environmental lawyer, not a doctor.
I'm going to pause right there.
Who's he?
Hold on. I'm going to pause right there. He already said two ridiculous things. Chronic illness is not caused by chemicals in the food. It actually is. This is a fact. Tartrazine
Inflammation.
But tartrazine, studies have found that it could cause or exacerbate asthma. Although now the Wikipedia has been edited to be like, nope, totally fine.
Like last week, probably.
He then says,
What about high fructose
he says,
corn syrup?
RFK Jr. is an environmental lawyer, not a doctor, right? Let's play that one more time.
Misinformation that we're going to have to fight against together is health related. RFK Jr. is an environmental lawyer, not a doctor.
Okay, pause. The current HHS secretary is Xavier Becerra. Becerra? Is that how you pronounce it? Becerra.
Yeah.
He is a lawyer, former AG of California. Before that was a U.S. rep representing downtown L.A. He's not a doctor either, and that's who they appointed. This is proof. Guys, please. The whole Democrat liberal infrastructure is whatever the right is for, we're against. Yeah. Even if it's like you have butylated hydroxytoluene in your food, you don't know what it is or why you're eating it, it's a good thing.
Well, why are the representatives, though? Here's the thing. I will say this. The one good thing that they've done for us, this kid's a dork. Like, what a dork. Look at this nerd, right? He's guys, listen to me. He's like, who's going to ever listen to this dipshit? Nobody's going to listen to this guy.
Us.
That's why, no. That's why 4,000 people left him and came over here, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to listen to this dork. It's ridiculous.
And all their
Listen to the doctors. You know why chronic disease in the United States is rising? It's because of obesity. Well, Chris, why is obesity going up? If the government is doing their job,
Completely wrong. So colon cancer has been on the rise among healthy young people. And this is a huge story. There was a couple studies that came out recently suggesting that high fructose corn syrup and emulsifiers have been causing colon cancer in healthy, fit, athletic young people.
High fructose corn syrup, like I just said earlier, that industrial product, that and seed oils, things like this, really bad.
So let's play a little bit more.
capitalism. Everybody has more money than ever in the most complex, well put together society ever on the face of the planet.
Wrong.
Look at where I'm sitting. I'm sitting in a vehicle where small explosions in the back will propel me forward to the nearest fucking McDonald's where I can
I just got to pause. Chris,
in the front.
Are you aware that Chris? Are you? They're in the front of the car. I don't know that Chris is aware, but impoverished countries have cars too. And the combustion engine is not unique to the United States.
get a meal that's very calorically dense and yet low in nutritional value. And I can do it
correct.
cheaply and in like 5 minutes. We fix this via education. I don't know, eat a diet that consists of more whole foods,
Wrong.
for example. Okay.
He's taken the libertarian route, which is really weird. These liberals are so anti-right that they'll even become libertarians to argue with the right. I reject the free market solution to all of these things. I drive to every diner. On the weekends, Allison and I will be like, we'll get breakfast somewhere. And every single diner uses aerosol spray on their grill for cooking food. I don't want to eat that, so we're like, I don't know if I want to do that anymore. There's only one restaurant around here, Martinsburg Family Diner, that has real butter. When you order food, they bring you out a little thing that says it's real, it's actual butter. Every other diner we go to, even the smaller ones, we try to go to the expensive ones, they'll give you packets of butter spread. Like, what is butter spread? Hydrogenated linseed oil or some other garbage nonsense. Nobody cares. And if I don't know the degree to which this stuff is causing poison or whatever the point is.
Well, it's part of the high trust aspect that we have.
Right.
And so you think that everything you're getting off of the shelf has already been vetted. It's already known to not be poisonous. Yes. Nobody would give you things which are poisonous to eat. That's insane, right? Of course, our government's looking out for us, and of course, the opposite is true. And so you're absolutely right. You can't use a libertarian free market approach to this. You need an authoritarian approach, and you actually have to say, no, I'm sorry, you can't sell actual poison. You can't do that.
So funny story with the recent push from these psychopath leftists for aqua tofana. Did you see this? Mm-hmm. Aqua tofana was being pushed by these leftist women. I'm not getting into too much detail other than it's a poison. These women are psychotic.
Oh, the drug thing?
The way it worked is the first dose.
So they're women? No, I'm kidding. Kidding.
They are women. The worst dose, the first dose would make the man feel like he had a cold. The second dose would make him feel like he had the flu. The third dose would put him on his deathbed, and the fourth dose would kill him. So the idea back in the day, in the 1600s when this woman was doing it, was that nobody would suspect it was poisoning. They would just think he was getting ill and then somehow died.
Yeah.
Imagine that times 10. 40 instances of eating something and you don't realize you're feeling sick because of it. So right now there's a lot of people who have done carnivore diets, or maybe they're vegan or whatever. And what I think Jordan Peterson and Michaela and Joe Rogan were saying about the carnivore diet is that it's an elimination diet. It's not that you want to eat only meat forever. It's that you eliminate everything from your diet and see if you feel better. And if you do, it may be that something you were eating was causing your chronic illness.
And by the way, almost everybody who has used the carnivore diet, I've used it myself as exactly that, elimination, right? Found out all sorts of things that bothered me, like bizarre things I would never thought of, like watermelon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All sorts of little strange things like that. Almost everybody who's ever gone on that diet for a few months, it almost always feels a million times better.
I don't think it's that, in my opinion, I don't think you should be eating nothing but beef, but people do. I think it's
beef and chicken and
Yeah, it's like
right,
steak
but
and stuff.
I'm just being a little hyperbolic.
Yeah.
What I mean is that it's all the garbage you've eliminated. It's not necessarily just the bread or the sugar or the watermelon or whatever it may be. It's that a lot of the stuff has chemicals that will make you sick, and you're dosing yourself with it every single day. And then this kid who's like, what is he, like 17 or something, is like, I'm in a car with a small explosion in the back that propels me forward. It's like you mentioned, the explosions are in the front, actually.
in the front where the engine is. Yeah.
And
He
third
just hears
world
the boom
countries,
boom in the back.
So I went to Thailand, and my buddy, who lived in Thailand for 7 years, and he was Filipino, we were working on a project for Vice. I said, I want real Thai food. And he's like, oh, you want real Thai food, huh? Okay, I'll get you real Thai food. And I knew exactly what he was going to do, because I do this every country I go to. We go to this little corner, a residential area. The first floor on the corner had like aluminum grates that were like lifted up, gates or whatever. And it was an open kitchen that looked like someone's house, but it was big. And he sat down, he ordered in Thai, and she brought out steamed chicken and rice. That's it. Steamed chicken, white rice. And he goes, this is Thai food. This is what they eat in Thailand. And I laughed, and I was like, I figured almost everyone in the world literally will just eat steamed chicken and rice. And he was like, all the other stuff people think is Thai food is like specialty prepared stuff or Americanized. I went to Brazil. I told my buddy I want Brazilian food. And he's like, real Brazil food? Yep. Guess what it was? Steak and rice.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no ridiculous, weird, garbled nonsense. We eat all that stuff because we're nuts. So I'll give him credit on that to a certain degree. He is right about high calorie, low nutrition food. That's true.
Is this why capitalism is
Yeah,
bad?
but I mean, but it's also a very obvious statement.
Right.
And he packs, then leftists do this all the time, right? They take one piece of the truth and pack it in with so many lies that it makes the rest of the lies seem like they're true.
Yep.
And this is
Very
exactly
true to a
what
lie.
this dork is doing right now.
Yeah.
And their leaders, this guy, I mean, he's totally wrong, but how are the Democratic Party and the leftists having him and Harry Sisson, how are they supposed to be their online leaders when they're just...
Well, they don't debate. They don't do
Yeah.
confrontations. You can't get Parker or Dean, the next two. They don't debate. My understanding, wasn't Dean supposed to come on here?
Yeah, he canceled the last minute.
Oh, what a shock.
was
Coward
scared. He was
Dean.
scared.
Coward Dean also said that he would do a live debate on whatever. Backed out of that. He said it on video. Said it on video.
He then tweeted, I responded because he was like calling out Aiden Ross or whatever. He's like, when are we going to debate, bro? And I was like, Dean, we're still waiting for you to reschedule. You said you'd figure it out. And then he was like, I'll do it right now, live. And I'm like, we're not doing the show right, because they know they create impossible circumstances. So they can't do the show and then go, oh, he won't have me on.
Well, they want to do it. It's worse. They want to do it on their TikTok because what they do is they mute you. With absent the mute button, these people have nothing. Oh, yeah. You can't get through a debate. So I always say the same thing. I'm like, look, I know Culture War will host us. I know whatever will host us. Tons of platforms which will host us. You don't have the mute button. And there's a moderator, and that's a debate. Not you go on TikTok, you click the mute button so that you can, you know what I mean? That's ridiculous.
This is the left, man. It's like we were talking about before with like Destiny and Sam Cedar and them. And you know, I'll stress this too, because it's a point I made a couple weeks ago. I used to think it was no point in talking about these guys. I'm like, who cares about some YouTubers? Like, well, the corporate press now
It matters.
But it matters now, and I've learned this. I have reconciled. MSN Joe Scarborough's getting 28,000 viewers. They don't matter at all. Like, why bother talking about them ever? We absolutely should be talking about Sam, Destiny, Pac-Man, Brian Tyler Cohen. They get way more viewers.
They're the
and
ones
do
getting
more
too.
to shift the cult. So it's not even just that. It's the orbiters, the idea of the orbiters. It's not that a guy like Destiny or a guy like Vosh or people like this, in and of themselves, while they're a machine, They spawn orbiters. Vosh came from Destiny. Hassan Piker came from Destiny.
Yeah.
These guys' career got launched off of Destiny's back. Yeah.
both of them.
Vosh was a
so salty about it.
Yeah, he was an orbiter inside of the community. His name was Irish Laddie or something stupid, right? He was a joke. He was a commie. They would make fun of him. He was the butt of every joke.
Wow.
And then he goes off and he becomes his own brand, spawned off of Destiny. So these orbiters that spawn off of them then go and make, and then they go
Destiny
and
is
make.
budding.
They're like a plague.
It's called budding.
Yeah, buddy.
That's the asexual reproductive process where they form off of one thing and flop onto the ground.
Well, that's why he's always seething about Hassan. He's always so upset with Hassan because Hassan essentially got the boost from his community, then went on to become the next big thing, way bigger than Destiny.
Yeah, but it's kind of wild that Hassan's views are like way down.
For now.
You think they'll come back?
Yeah.
Why do you think so?
Yeah. Well, I think right now, because his content is so polarized because it's focused on this war and he's picked a side on that, I think that after this maybe dies down, I think that you're going to see a reemergence of BreadTube. I've always thought so. I never thought that BreadTube and the bread tumors and the commies were ever actually going to go away. They just seem to consolidate a little bit more. They kind of dim for a little while and then they come right back in. No, I don't think the commies on YouTube are at risk of dying anytime soon.
No, I don't think he's going to die off, but his views collapsed.
Yeah.
And he had like a breakdown over it and was like, "Yo, what's going on?"
Well, I think they went down by like 20%. I'm not sure that they collapsed.
So when this drop off for him happened, he was getting like 40 to 50K per show, and it dropped down to like 15 to 19.
Yeah, he's back up in the
now I think he's getting like 28, 29.
Yeah.
Well, they're so fragile. He thought about self-harm because of that, because he has such a small...
He posted something about hurting himself
insane.
Because his viewers collapsed. I mean, it's
fragile.
Hassan
people.
did?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's remarkable how like deranged a lot of these people are. Like, so there was a video about Mr. Beast doing the cataract removals.
Yeah.
Hassan made a comment on it. Everybody roasted him. I made a video saying Hassan is correct. Hassan's point was it's ridiculous that to cure people of cataract blindness, we had to turn it into a game show. Like, isn't there a more effective means of helping people? And I was like, he's right. I mean, that's idiocracy level insane. And then I went on to say things like, maybe if we weren't wasting money in the military-industrial complex, dumping it in Ukraine, we could actually just, I don't know, pay for people, pay for their cataract blindness treatments. I would much rather see, instead of $250 billion going to Ukraine, $250 billion to pay off people's medical debt or give them minor treatments like cataract blindness. He responded to my response, making fun of me for... As much as he was like, the military-industrial complex is bad, and then when he heard me say we shouldn't give money to Ukraine, he starts laughing, going, yo, can you believe this guy? Like, Ukraine should just be left on their own. And I was like, I'm sitting here being like, I don't understand how we agree on everything, and you still found a way to act like we don't agree, and you're upset at
you can't throw these people a bone.
Well, because the thing is,
you can't do it.
All Hassan is doing, and these liberals, is they're looking at their chat and then waiting to see if there's a consensus and then agreeing with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I wonder if we could study that. Like, look at their chat. You think that's actually true that they're looking at what's going on?
Hassan Piker is notoriously dumb as a box of rocks, and everybody
Look,
knows it.
Hold on, that's offensive to rocks.
Rocks.
Dumb.
Or boxes as well.
This guy is he's so
He is.
stupid. I mean, they used to make fun of him when he was a 300-400 viewer Andy because of how dumb he was. They just thought he was good looking, right?
Yeah.
But they were like, he is so stupid. He's just as stupid now as he was. The guy has never been an intelligent entertainer ever. He's always been dumb. That's not why people tune in. Is for his smart takes. So.
Yes, he's a very dumb guy, but I want to make one comment about the whole self-harm thing.
Yeah.
People like Hassan, and probably I would imagine someone like Destiny and Vosh, this is something I've noticed with a lot of these bread tubers and a lot of the people on the left. They don't have anything else, right? So like, Tim's got multiple businesses that he's doing. It's not just IRL. He's got the morning show. He's got his hands in a bunch of different stuff. You look at all the guys over at Daily Wire. They're writing books. They're doing multiple things. All the leftists, the only thing they do is stream. So if they stop streaming, the cash dries up real quick. So all their bills, they're effed. They're completely screwed because they don't have...
I disagree a little bit. So these guys like Progressive Victory and some of these other PACs, they have made political operatives out of the Twitch leftist streamers.
But they have to stream. What I'm saying is, if their stream dries up, they have nothing else.
Many of them can become very, very competent political operatives. So, and I'm telling you, it's
Hassan.
like there's one right now. I can tell you one right now. Brianna Wu
Yes,
became failed streamer, but a very, very good political operative for the Democrats. It's like, no, they don't only have one pathway.
But I'm saying,
And that's funny how much they despise Brianna. And Brianna's been, pro-Israel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the reason that they despise her.
It's not just...
We got to go to we got to go to super chats, but I want to point out one thing, and maybe we'll get into the members only because it's hilarious. Dr. Simon Gaetz says, I was just labeled intolerant by Blue Sky and accused of discriminating against protected groups, WTF. Ironically, that's not very tolerant of them.
Based.
Blue Sky, this is funny because it's Jack Dorsey's thing. I'm pretty sure this is what he was talking to me about when I was on Rogan in the green room waiting to go on the show. He was mentioning he wanted to do this decentralized thing, total free speech. So Dr. Simon Gaetz goes on to Blue Sky and says, great to be here. I hear this is a free speech platform, so let's put it to the test. COVID was a pandemic. Epstein didn't kill himself. There are only two genders. Men can't get pregnant. Bill Clinton likes them young. Trump will make America great again. And then they said discrimination against protected groups and banned him from liberal tiers. Maybe I have no idea.
Yeah.
Men can't get pregnant. The point is, as all these leftists flee to Blue Sky, Blue Sky's reporting that they're getting something like hundreds of thousands of reports per hour. Yeah, these people can't live with themselves.
No,
they can't.
Not at all.
But we'll go to super chats. We'll talk more about that in the members only, where we can be a little bit less family friendly. So in the meantime, smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know, become a member over at timcast.com. Click join us to support our work and get involved. As a member of the Discord, there's a bunch of people. They're going to be friends with you. Maybe they won't be. I don't know. We'll see how you act. But there's meetups, there's pre-shows, there's after shows. And if you're trying to figure out how to get involved, it's one way to do it, timcast.com. And you're supporting this show. That members only show will be up at 10 p.m. where you as members get to call in and talk to us and our guest. Let's go. We got Big Cheese says, howdy, everyone.
Yeah, Big Cheese.
Howdy. Peter Gohawk says, can we get a Trump dance around the Timcast table? Indeed. We don't have a wide shot, though. Andrew's refusing to do it. He won't do the Trump dance.
I won't do the Trump dance.
We got to tilt our head too, right? That's head down.
So John Jones, not only was he the winner, right, based, but when he did the Trump dance, he did it right. You know, I'm watching those frat boys do the Trump shimmy, and one guy's going like this, and I'm like, that is not the Trump dance. One guy was going like this. I'm like, that is not the Trump dance. You cock your head to the side, and you go arm in, arm out, and then what John did was he went,
and then he pointed, yeah.
It's so good. And then he gave Trump the belt. Look, man, everybody should laugh at the Trump dance, but a Trump dance is a choice a person made to laugh with everybody, and the getting on your knee was something they didn't choose to do, but were forced to do under threat of penalty. So we are winning.
Go team.
All right. Dan Cam says, congratulations, Tim. You were featured in Shane Dawson's new conspiracy theory video, LOL. Andrew, welcome, my brother in Christ.
Hey, thank you.
Where in the video? It's like an hour long. I don't really know much about that guy, but, whatever.
Is he a big name?
He's famous, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He used to be. I thought he disappeared for a while. Totally disappeared from the internet for a while.
Nate Parrott says, hey, guys. Tim, what do I tell lefties who say that the reason why things were good under Trump because of Obama's policies, and the reason things were bad under Biden were because of Trump's policies?
Yeah, ask him to name them. Ask him to name the policies.
So I had, we have various contractors who come in here, and we're all friends with them, but some of them are, more liberal. And this is the funny thing, like, run-of-the-mill people who come by to do contract work and we hang out with might be liberal, but we don't get into it. We don't, you know. And so one of our skaters here and one of our contractors was here. They were talking about something. I don't know what they're talking about. But contractor asked Skater, I don't even know how Trump will make butter cheaper anyway. And so Johnny, a skater, was like, hey, Tim, how is Trump going to make butter cheaper? And I was like, okay, well, let's start from the beginning. Joe Biden, one of the first things he did when he got in was he banned the Keystone Pipeline and he banned fracking on public lands. The shutting down of the Keystone Pipeline caused a speculative price hike in oil because the speculators and the oil industry said that in the next 5 years, supply will not meet demand because the Keystone Pipeline has been shut down and we can't frack. This is going to cause us a price spike. So we better buy things up now, causing a preemptive price spike. By all means, rag on speculators. This happened. Donald Trump wants to deregulate the energy industry, which would likely cause a decrease in every element of the processing, packaging, and production of butter, which means when it comes to the grocery store, if the cost of fuel goes down, every element of its production, petroleum is going to result in cheaper plastics, cheaper packaging, cheaper printing, everything. So, easy answer. Trump deregulates energy, we produce more energy, the cost to ship everything goes down, and that's the easiest way to put it. There you go.
Yes.
Say that.
Also, if he goes through with the decrease in corporate tax, that also will likely lower the cost of these goods at your local market.
Why do you think? How will that correlate? What do you think?
Well, because when you raise the corporate tax, just like when the progressives are saying Trump's tariffs are going to raise prices, that's true. They are going to slightly raise prices. There's no doubt about that.
Only on imported goods.
That's true.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of imported goods. Let's be real. But so does raising corporate taxes. If you raise the corporate tax rate, then that's a hidden tax on the consumer. It's always a hidden tax on the consumer. Where else does it go? It goes to the consumer. So if you decrease the corporate tax rate, that is no longer a hidden tax on the consumer.
The issue likely with raising taxes will hit publicly owned companies with a fiduciary obligation to deliver profits. If there's a higher tax burden on the corporation, on their profits, they're going to deliver lower profits to their shareholders. So they're trying to find a way to maximize profits, as is their
raise the prices.
Yep. So if they're saying we delivered X amount last year and we want to hit that target this year, but we got to pay more in taxes, then you will likely see them try to make up that money in some way. And it's because they are legally obligated to make profit for the shareholders. They have to pursue their fiduciary responsibility. Now, I will say,
so you're saying if we lower corporate tax rates again, like he's talking about, another maybe 5-10%, he's even saying, that will lower the cost of these goods.
It depends on the company, yes, and it goes a couple different directions. When you increase taxes, so outside of the public realm, when they increase taxes on us, we actually spend more. So all that does is stimulate economic activity to a certain degree. Economics is tough, and I'm not an economist. What I can tell you is, for a company like ours, which is singly owned by me with no responsibility to the public, when they say, Tim, your tax rate is going up by 8% or whatever, I say, okay. So if at the end of the year I have $100,000 and I got to pay $40K to the government, I'd rather just spend that $40K on my tax deductible equipment allotment and then hold a $40,000 van as equipment that I don't pay taxes on because it's tax deductible up to $1 million. And so then I buy a van from a salesman. Then the salesman makes money. Then the dealership is cycling inventory. However, we don't have shareholders. If you have shareholders, you have a fiduciary responsibility to generate profit. So you're going to be cutting the costs everywhere and trying to figure out where to make more money because you can't just push your profits. If you're a publicly traded company and you say, let's just spend our profits into the market so that we can, so we don't got to pay the taxes.
Shareholders don't have profit.
Boom. Yeah. And now you're not delivering profits to the shareholders. Shares are going to sell. No one's going to want to be in the company. So you're actually going, no, we got to make money. We can't do that.
So we'll up the cost of the good.
Yes.
That's the primary way that's done. We'll up the cost of the good.
I thought going public was always a good thing. Now you're making it sound like a bad thing.
It's a good thing for the people who own the company and are trying to cash out. Usually going public is like, let's say I took Timcast public. Yeah. We calculated the revenue and then I said, I'm going to sell 30% to the public for $30 million or whatever. I get $30 million in cash. And then now the company is publicly owned, traded with all these rules and regulations. The company probably falls to crap. This is why you get butylated hydroxytoluene in your food, because they're like, look, if we make cereal and it lasts on a shelf for 2 weeks and it gets thrown in the garbage, we lose money. If we put BHT, it costs a little bit more, but it lasts 4 weeks, we're going to sell it. So, for instance, what happened to us recently is that Cast Brew Coffee Decaf, we had a batch expire, which means it's been sitting for a year. So we order around 5,000 units of each coffee at a time. And then the Ian's Graphene Dream sold out like crazy quick.
Shout out Ian.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, let me clarify. We order 5,000 bags and they make the coffee in small batches every so often. We had a batch made of Unwoke and we didn't sell any. So it expired. They tell us it's actually fine to drink, but as per regulation, it's expired. You probably don't want it anymore. And so on our end, we just lose that. Yeah. If we were to try and figure out a way to do like higher end preservative or whatever, we wouldn't have that problem. We wouldn't have to worry about product that doesn't sell. Got so anyway, that's why we did it. We ended up doing a sale on Unwoke for the remaining that didn't expire because I think we had like 500 that was made. So people hit us up saying they wanted decaf. So we made a couple hundred, I think 500 or 600, and then sold barely any, and the rest just sat around. And we were like, we have 5,000 bags of this sitting around. So we're probably going to order it in much smaller batches, much smaller. I think each batch is usually like a couple hundred bags, and they sell pretty quick. But that's why they're going to put chemicals and garbage in your food, because they save money and they have a responsibility to their shareholders.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. That's why people eat garbage.
Not it.
All right, let's go. Yeah. What did I didn't eat anything today, actually.
Very bad for you.
I had my omelet as per usual, and I had 2 protein shakes. I had 2 of these meat sticks, in which I think the ingredients are all easily discernible: citric acid, pepper, cultured celery powder. You know, it's fine. And but I had no time. Just crazy busy day. Yikes.
Real quick, are you doing like 5-7 videos a day now? I'm noticing
6.
Okay.
Yeah, and then. I'm trying. I have to record early to get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday done. Okay. So this weekend I only had 1 each, but I'm trying to figure out.
I thought you were backing way off because of the kid.
We got something in the works.
Yeah. Yeah,
and so there's we got something in the works. It's rough. So we're working on with the new year ad sales, which here's the double-edged sword, I guess. We don't do ad reads, and we never did. Like, I'm sorry, we do sometimes, but rarely. Top of the show, we did Home Title Lock. Yep. We usually just shout out Cast Brew Coffee. It's our own company. Because I don't, look, in the morning, I find news articles, I read the news, I hit record, I rant, I hit done, I'm done. Recently, I've been shouting out Cast Brew because we want to promote our own stuff and make money off it. There's a solution. We need to hire a CEO. We hire a CEO or we take investment. Right now, the strategy is we got a couple companies that want to do ad sales. So every segment we put out will have like a 45-second to a minute ad read in it, which is what we never want to do. But I suppose it's better than not doing any shows ever again. And then IRL is likely going to have 1 ad read at the top and 1 at 9:30 before we do super chats.
Oh.
So a pre and a mid roll. That is going to generate enough revenue where I can hire 2 CEOs or an executive team to just run things. The alternative is we're also negotiating with more extensive deals like strategic investment and things like that. And so for the time being, I'm just trying to work as much as I can, especially too, because we're taking next Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday off for the holiday. And then for Christmas, the whole week of Christmas is just look, guys, I don't want to take any time off. I'd love to work through the holidays, but we tried this and you can't book guests. So there's just nothing, So I'll probably
do in-house because I'm bored last year. I was like, fuck. I was like, I have a whole week. I'm not used to none of my jobs having a whole week off.
Everybody's got family stuff on Thanksgiving.
I mean, true.
And so, I was asking Phil, like maybe Phil could do Wednesday, but Phil's got Thanksgiving. Then we don't got production crew.
I meant for the Christmas area.
But dude,
a whole week is a lot for, just in general.
You need driver.
I know.
You need camera production.
A lot.
It's at least like 3 people and a guest. And so it's like nobody's coming here on the day before Christmas Eve.
Didn't you have a bunch of cancellations a couple years ago because people couldn't make it?
Yeah, and then we ended up booking last-minute local guests who are friends.
Yeah.
And then we were like, this was a mistake, right? Viewership is down, and that's fine because we believe in doing the work, but you can't get people to come out, and I don't blame them for it. So I'm like, I think we should just be like every other normal person and just take the holidays to go see family, and then that's our vacation time. And then I think we're planning on coming back on like the 2nd of January.
Nice.
So I'm trying to work as much as possible until then. And, we'll see. We're talking with a couple of the really big ad sales networks, and it sounds really great. We've brought on someone already who's managing things and handling a lot of the heavy lifting. And so a couple routes we can do is strategic investment / buyout, which I don't know if it's possible. And then all I got to do is the show, and I don't got to worry about anything.
Jason Dixon will buy you out. Remember him?
Yeah. The alternative is strategic investment, which is simple.
Yeah.
Somebody who runs a media company buys a small portion of the company and then assumes management. I still reap most of the benefits, but they're in charge. I sit back and say, tell me when to read the ad. We'll do the show. But then also it's hire a CEO and executive management team to do all the work. For that, we need to make a lot more money. And so this is the point in Shark Tank where the guy shows up and says, I got a big company. We're making lots of money, but we're at a point where we're hitting our heads as founders. We're not CEOs. And then we need X amount of money in order to do this. For us, we make enough money to where if we just decide to do the ad reads, we're going to generate enough money, and that solves a lot of the problem. It's still really annoying trying to find the CEO to run things.
I bet.
Yeah, because look, for all the people who are like, I could do it, hire me. It's like, you don't.
Yeah, I never said CEO. Just get this on the open.
No, it's just
no way.
we've talked to people about proper management, and there's things you really do have to have the expertise. That's why strategic investment is the much better option. Somebody who's already networked with all the podcast networks, television networks, ad sales companies, hiring someone to do that and being like, okay, for the next 6 months, try and build the Rolodex it's a really difficult thing. We'll see though. I've been having a bunch of meetings, and I say it's all very good news. It's all very good news.
Excellent.
Yep. And then there's still the possibility of switching only to the morning show. But we'll see. I'm trying to avoid that because, now Timcast IRL is doing better than ever. Well, not better than ever. COVID was a weird time. But since the end of the pandemic, our numbers are fantastic. Revenue projections are ridiculous. We're taking over podcast presidency, all that stuff. It'd be stupid to get rid of what is typically the biggest news show on YouTube.
Yeah, were we number one last week or something?
We're usually
at least live for the prime time.
We're always number one prime time.
Yeah,
like not always, but like 80% of the time.
Sure.
Sometimes some guy will do League of Legends and beat us, but
League of Legends.
But we beat all of the other big news streams. Like today, our peak concurrence was like 61K.
Nice.
And so even when we get 40, a few months ago, that was still usually the top if you go on YouTube's live. So there's no reason in just abandoning ship, but we definitely need to expand and then bring people in. So
that's the good sign. That means you're blowing up, bro.
Sure.
Right? I mean, in a way.
It's tough because 16-hour days, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
no,
weekends.
I feel you. I see it. I work with you, yeah.
So that's the big challenge with all these other companies that want to do some kind of deal. It's like, look, man, I'm not doing a morning couple-hour recording like all these other hosts that do all these shows. They'll record for an hour or 2 hours, and then they leave. And I'm like, no, I'm here sun up, sun down. And if you want both of these shows in some capacity, either ad sales, so the ad sales, right? They're saying, okay, Tim, we want to sell ads on your show. We sell them up front. I say, okay, that means I'm working 16-hour days. It alleviates, I can hire someone to alleviate all of the heavy lifting and split my day in two. But like this deal it's a lot more difficult than your average podcaster who's like, I record till 3 and then I'm done.
Yeah.
It was funny. I was talking to Joe Rogan and he asked me how much I recorded per day. I was like, I think 4 hours. And he's like, so just 4 hours per day? That's it? It's still only 4 hours. And I was like, no, Joe, it's like 4 hours plus 10 hours of research. It's nuts. It's like I wake up, I'm reading the news nonstop. I record. In between recording, I'm reading. Then I eat, exercise, and then I get ready for the late night show.
Yeah, you like live here almost.
Yeah. All right, let's grab some more. Greta Thanos says, it's not revenge, it's righteous fury. Look upon my works, ye mighty in despair. Terrible quote, I must say, in reference to what you're talking about. The Ozymandias quote was a reference to a great and powerful pharaoh who was claiming territory over a mighty kingdom that had been left to ruin. The point was that time makes fools of us all. So to say it's not revenge, look upon my works, ye mighty in despair, is if to imply that after a long enough period of time, Trump's power will wane and his effectiveness will be nil. So, but I do love Ozymandias, who is, Percy,
Jackson?
No, the poet was Percy Bysshe Shelley? Tell me I'm getting that right. Let me see. You know Ozymandias, right? Percy Bysshe Shelley. Am I pronouncing that wrong? Probably, because I read it and I don't know how to pronounce the guy's name. It's a guy, right?
Phil?
Bysshe. I was correct. Percy Bysshe Shelley. Yes. I'm very happy when I remember stupid things like that. Anyway, Ozymandias is an awesome poem. Let's go. All right, we got Distracting Game says, Destiny and Hassan should both be banned from all platforms and imprisoned for the threats and calls for violence. They've both called for violence, haven't
Destiny has, he said for the MAGA people to start shooting the rioters in the street a couple times.
Wow.
Yeah, I got it posted.
He got real mad at me and went off after I said, And I feel like I said it quite dispassionately, that he's not welcome on this show, not because I have beef with him, but because he glorifies violence and murder. And that's against the rules. You can't go on a show and advocate for, glorify, or celebrate someone dying. This is a very harsh YouTube rule. If we invited him on when his whole shtick at that period was consistently gloating and bragging and calling for more, I'm like, well, just get banned. So we can't do that. He got really mad and then said something about Laura Loomer was on the show. And I'm like, we took that episode down.
It was like this. It was like Tim shut it down.
And the other thing, too, is about Laura is that she was making a point that I don't think was ban-worthy. She was making a point that the codified penalty for treason is death. And I said, yeah, we can't call for death penalty. We don't do that. He gloated and glorified. It's very different. Laura's response is, I'll try to be more cognizant of the rules I didn't realize. His attitude is, so what if I said it, I'll say it again. So I'm like, you see the difference in why Laura's not banned from the show. It's because her attitude is, no, I don't want to get you banned. We want to do a good show and talk about important things.
Yeah, but they're never going to be good faith about that.
Oh, I know.
He's never going to be like, okay, yeah, that was totally reasonable. And you know what? When I go back on his platform in the future, I'll respect his platform under the assumption he would respect mine. Never going to happen. Never going to happen.
And that's why I said, I was like, I got no beef. He's a guy with different political opinions. He can say what he wants, but for that reason, he won't come on, and he's lost it. Now, since then, he's just absolutely lost it. I actually think it's when his wife left him.
The cuckold?
Well, I mean, what I'm not going to insult. I'm not insulting
my
him.
bad.
You can call him whatever you want. I'm just saying, whatever happened between him and his wife clearly was devastating for him.
It happened between his wife and someone else.
Oh.
Right, his wife left him for somebody else. And his only opportunity, it seems, is to lean into it and say, so what? I don't care. Because he's being attacked for something pretty brutal for any man.
Yeah, if you're married to a woman and holy moly.
Like, I mean, what's the story of Marcus Aurelius? His wife cheated on him. So he murdered the man she cheated with, boiled his blood, and then bathed her in it or something?
I didn't know that.
Was that the story of Marcus Aurelius?
That's kind of stoic. That's stoic, Marcus.
Yeah, something like his wife cheated on him.
Let me see.
And then, no, maybe he didn't boil the blood. He killed the guy and poured the blood on her in public or something.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know.
That's good.
I don't know enough about Marcus Aurelius. I just read that on the internet somewhere. Look that up.
We're looking right now.
Okay, you got it, Phil?
Well, I don't have it. I'm looking.
No, I mean, but
I mean, look, Destiny is like he's bad faith all the time.
Yes.
I mean, that's not. There's no debate about that. So I mean, good riddance. I
mean, one of my favorite things on X that I enjoy is dunking on like Destiny and some of these other far leftist crazy lunatic people. It's I don't have an X is fun, but when you get a chance to be like, this guy's crazy and psycho and out of his freaking mind, it's fun to share with the world, right?
Well, yeah, we've been pretty much laughing nonstop at Destiny for about a half a year, right? Because
yeah.
I made a shirt.
He's
Did
gone.
You? Oh, that's right. You wore it on your.
Yeah, he's gone progressively more insane. You know what I mean? As his community has gone progressively more insane with him. Yeah. And so you can kind of collectively laugh at all of them because it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So Marcus Aurelius didn't kill his wife.
It is not correct.
No, Faustina the Younger was his wife, I guess.
I was reading that the claims that she cheated and that he took any kind of retribution are largely mix-ups based on other myths.
Okay. So
it's a good story.
Makes sense. Not everything you read on the internet is true. It's turned out.
Yeah, Destiny is going to sit there and lash out at people that he feels like have slighted him somehow. That's why he attacks Tim because I mean Tim was gracious enough to have him on the show and
Tim gave him props because he agreed with Kyle Rittenhouse and some good takes.
Until Destiny started saying things that were
until his wife left him.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean the reason that you just articulated about why he's not welcome on the show, until he started saying things, speaking about violence and stuff like that, Tim would welcome him on the show. Like
had him on twice.
So he's just salty because Tim was like, oh, I'm not going to have you on here because you're saying things about endorsing violence. So
yeah, the first time we had him on as we were getting ready for the show, I was like, we're going to agree on like most things, and he's like, like what? And I was like when it comes to tax policy and stuff, we're probably going to agree on these things. And he's like, well, I don't know. And then we largely did. However, he is evil.
Yes, he is.
I don't mean that. I'm not saying this to be emotional or disparaging. He literally said on the show that Democrats should use crises as a means to manipulate the public to implement the change they want.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's evil. I was like, we were talking about, I can't remember, I think we were talking about COVID. And I said, Democrats are manipulating the crisis to make these changes. And he goes, when else would they do it? And I was like, oh, but that's wrong. And he's like, why? I was like, well, okay. I was like, that's an opinion you're allowed to have, I guess. Thank you for expressing that. All right. Stephanie X says, Tim.
I mean, from their worldview, though, that makes sense.
Yeah. Stephanie X says, Tim, and you inspired me to open a business. I have placed a rock on the pile every day. Now we have launched. It is a way to buy or sell local farm animals and similar items. We could use the service to bring Timcast chickens to the world. Let's talk. Ooh.
I love it.
Yeah, we were talking about making Chicken City brand chickens.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then basically just selling them. So whereas a normal chicken could be like $20, we'd sell them for $6 to $21 or something. And they're Chicken City brand.
Do they get like a tag or like a tattoo on their legs or something?
Oh, I don't know.
Just
You can put the little bands on them to identify them as part of the flock. Yeah, we're building Roberto his own house because new Chicken City is live. And so the chicken meter and all that is available. If you go to chickencitylive.com, you can watch our chickens. And if you give a super chat, an automatic dispenser will drop mealworms for them.
Yeah, Chris has it hooked up all nice, and it's a big old area. And then like Kim just opened up the outside, so pretty soon they're going to be able to go outside. It's a big old nice area over there.
And every $100 that goes in, the chicken party goes off, and it plays music and disco lights, and the chickens run over and they eat.
Party.
Let's go. All right, everybody, if you haven't already, would you kindly smash that like button? Subscribe to this channel, share the show with everyone you know, become a member at timcast.com to join the movement. A lot of people ask, like, hey, how do I get involved? Well, if you join our Discord server at timcast.com, $10 a month, easy. There's also higher tiers like the silver tier, $25. You get access to special chat rooms. You get to hang out with people, share ideas. There's meetups, but also you get access to our uncensored members only show. So we produce bonus content Monday through Thursday at 10 p.m. where you as members get to call in. And we're going to be going to that show right now. So don't miss it. Go to timcast.com right now. Smash the like button. Share the show if you do like it. Word of mouth is how podcasts grow. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Andrew, do you want to shout anything out? Shout anything out.
Yeah, you can find me over on The Crucible. It is again, popular entertainment channel on YouTube. You can also become a member of my website. That is thecrucible.video. That's where we put our entire back catalog, all of our bits, skits, songs, everything in between. And yeah, that's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Raymond G. Stanley Jr. You can follow me on X at Raymond G. Stanley. I just want to say, Andrew, it was great to meet you officially because you and your lovely lady, Miss Rachel, are like one of my new favorite folks who speak a good message. So I appreciate you coming on and being a chance to talk to you.
Yeah, happy to do it.
And ladies and gentlemen, today's Monday, so we're going to do Marine Corps Monday here in the Discord. Join the Discord and the after show. It's called the After Dark Show. Myself and Slick will be hosting the After Dark Show as soon as I can because I'm driving from here now. But yeah, come join Discord. Great community. Tim's outline. People got married. It's such a great community. It's good. It's fun. We have calls to action. Phil?
Hey, I am Phil That Remains on Twix, where you can subscribe for more extra content. I am Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. You can check out our brand new video for No Tomorrow, as well as Let You Go.
What about the Snowflake one or the...
What?
What's in there?
Snowflake one?
No. The latest one.
Yeah, Forever Cold.
Cold.
Yeah, Forever Cold, No Tomorrow, Divine, and Let You Go are 3 brand new songs that we've released in the past 6 months. You can check it out on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, Deezer, and Apple Music. Don't forget, The Left Lane is for crime. Get over to the right.
Real quick, I just want to mention this because I'm just seeing the story right now. I don't know if it's new.
Uh-oh.
No, it's from earlier in the day. I just want to point this out. The numbers on the Alex Jones bids were just released.
Oh.
One company is FUAC, which is the supplement sales. I believe Jones may be associated with it or some I don't know. They say he's associated with it. They put in a bid for all of InfoWars assets at $3.5 million. They claim the Onion put in $1.75 million bid for InfoWars. And they said that let's see, Connecticut families promising some $1.75 million cash in addition to a waiver from the Connecticut families promising some proceeds from the sale of InfoWars assets, which Connecticut families valued at $2.625 million, according to the filing. FUAC said accepting the Onion's bid was collusion and argued that including the contingent waiver in its valuation was improper. So if this supplement company offered double what the Onion was bidding for, there's some impropriety there. And now that I'm seeing these numbers, 3.5.
Feels kind of small though in general.
I'm kind of thinking of putting a bid for InfoWars.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
I mean, look, the brand is the brand. I mean, I don't know that.
Timfowars.
I mean, if 3.5 is a bid that's going in for assets of 2.6, but you get InfoWars, I mean, that's kind of crazy because I feel like any Bitcoin millionaire could just fart and buy it.
Jason Dixon. Just
Yeah,
throwing it
Jason.
out there, you know.
No, I'm not. That's not even a joke, Jason.
No.
If you're listening, you should buy InfoWars.
Yeah, 3.5. Forget about it.
Wow.
And he lives down in the Texas area.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's go to the members only show. We'll talk more about this stuff. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all over at timcast.com.